Excel, Spreadsheet, for ICDL by Ahmed Khorshid. Genre, Computers and Technology Target Audience, ICDL, ECDL certification candidates, administrative and office professionals, adult learners, and students seeking practical computer skills. Style, technical, practical, tutorial, reference, instructional.
Chapter 1, Your Gateway to Excel Excellence. Sections. Section 1.1, Charting Your ICDL Certification Journey. Section 1.2, Why Excel Skills Matter in Today's Workplace. Section 1.3, How to Make the Most of This Learning Guide. Section 1.4, Setting Up Your Practice Environment. Welcome to the beginning of your Excel mastery journey. This chapter serves as your launchpad into the world of spreadsheets, where you'll discover not just how to use Excel, but how to make it work for you in powerful and meaningful ways. As your guide, I've designed this learning path to transform you from a hesitant beginner into a confident practitioner ready to tackle any professional challenge with Excel. Section 1.1, Charting Your ICDL Certification Journey. The ICDL, International Computer Driving License, certification represents more than just a credential, it's your passport to professional recognition in today's digital workplace. Earning this certification validates your skills and demonstrates to employers that you possess the practical computer competencies needed in modern business environments. Think of it as building a bridge between your current abilities and your future career aspirations. Excel forms a critical pillar in your ICDL certification journey, specifically within the Spreadsheets module. Unlike many software applications that serve narrow purposes, Excel operates as a universal language of data across industries and job functions. Your decision to master Excel through this certification isn't merely about learning software, it's about acquiring a versatile tool that will amplify your professional capabilities for years to come. Figure, AI-generated diagram showing a visual roadmap of the ICDL certification journey, with Excel Spreadsheets module highlighted as a central milestone. The diagram should show pathways from different starting points, student, administrative professional, career changer, converging toward the Excel module, then branching into career opportunities. Include icons representing different professions where Excel skills are valuable. As you embark on this journey, remember that expertise builds incrementally. Each chapter in this guide has been carefully structured to build upon previous knowledge while introducing new concepts in digestible portions. Rather than overwhelming you with all of Excel's features at once, we'll walk through them methodically, ensuring you understand not just the how but also the why behind each function and technique. The ICDL certification exam tests both theoretical understanding and practical application, which is why this guide balances conceptual explanations with hands-on exercises. We've designed our approach to mirror the certification structure, preparing you not just to pass the test but to retain and apply these skills in real-world scenarios. Your success in this journey isn't measured solely by exam performance but by your growing confidence and competence in handling data challenges independently. Section 1.2, Why Excel Skills Matter in Today's Workplace. In today's data-driven business landscape, Excel proficiency has evolved from a nice-to-have skill to an essential professional capability. Organizations of all sizes rely on spreadsheets for financial reporting, project tracking, data analysis, and countless other business functions. When you master Excel, you're not just learning software, you're gaining the ability to translate raw data into actionable insights that drive business decisions. Consider Sarah, an administrative assistant at a mid-sized company who transformed her role after mastering Excel. She went from manually tracking expenses in paper ledgers to creating dynamic dashboards that provided real-time financial visibility to management. Her enhanced capabilities didn't just make her more efficient, they fundamentally changed how her department operated and made her an indispensable team member. Excel skills serve as a professional equalizer, enabling employees at all levels to contribute meaningfully to data discussions and decision-making processes. Whether you're tracking sales performance, managing project timelines, analyzing customer data, or preparing departmental budgets, Excel provides the framework to organize information and extract valuable insights. These skills transcend specific job titles and industries, making them some of the most transferable capabilities in today's job market. The financial impact of Excel proficiency extends beyond personal productivity to organizational efficiency. Companies that employ Excel-savvy staff benefit from faster reporting cycles, more accurate forecasting, improved resource allocation, and better-informed strategic planning. Your investment in learning Excel isn't just about your own career growth, it's about becoming a more valuable contributor to any organization fortunate enough to have you on their team. Figure: infographic-style visualization showing workplace scenarios where Excel skills are essential. Display split-screen comparisons, left side showing professionals struggling with data, piles of paper, confused expressions, right side showing the same professionals succeeding with Excel dashboards, charts, and automated reports. Include call-out boxes with statistics on productivity improvements and career advancement benefits. For career advancement specifically, Excel skills open doors to roles in data analysis, financial planning, operations management, business intelligence, and many other growing fields. Employers consistently rank Excel proficiency among the most sought-after skills across job categories, and certification provides tangible proof of your capabilities. As automation and artificial intelligence transform workplaces, human expertise in structuring, analyzing, and interpreting data through tools like Excel becomes more valuable, not less. Section 1.3: How to make the most of this learning guide. This learning guide has been crafted with your success as its primary focus, employing a multimodal approach that accommodates different learning styles and preferences. Each concept is presented through explanations, visual demonstrations, practical examples, and hands-on exercises, creating multiple pathways to understanding. Our philosophy centers on learning by doing, which means you'll spend more time practicing than reading about theory. To maximize your learning experience, approach each chapter with intentionality and prepare to engage actively with the material. Keep Excel open as you progress through the guide, trying out each function immediately after reading about it. This immediate application reinforces learning through muscle memory and helps you understand the practical context of each feature. Don't worry about memorizing everything at once, focus instead on understanding the logic behind Excel's functionality. Figure: a visual guide showing optimal study setup for learning Excel. Display a desk with computer showing Excel, this learning guide on a tablet or printed book, notes section for observations, and practice files visible. Include annotations highlighting important elements, dual monitors, shortcuts reference, practice timer, and reflection journal. We've structured the content to build progressively, with each chapter introducing concepts that lay foundations for subsequent lessons. While you might be tempted to jump ahead to more advanced topics, resist this urge. True mastery requires a solid understanding of fundamentals. Think of it like constructing a building. Skipping steps or rushing through foundations inevitably leads to structural weaknesses later. Your learning journey should include regular practice sessions that extend beyond the exercises in this book. Create opportunities to apply Excel in your personal or professional life, even for simple tasks like budgeting, meal planning, or hobby tracking. These real-world applications solidify your understanding and help you develop the intuition to choose the right Excel tools for different situations. Remember, proficiency isn't measured by how many functions you know but by how effectively you solve problems using the functions you do know. Pay special attention to the pro tips and common pitfalls sections throughout the guide. These insights come from years of professional experience and can save you countless hours of frustration and inefficiency. The Excel community has developed countless workarounds and shortcuts that aren't immediately obvious to new users, and we've distilled the most valuable of these lessons into actionable advice throughout your learning journey. Section 1.4: Setting up your practice environment. Before diving into Excel's features and functions, we need to establish your practice environment for optimal learning and compatibility with the ICDL certification requirements. The version of Excel you use can significantly impact your experience, as different versions offer varying interfaces and feature sets. For this guide, we recommend using Excel 2019 or Microsoft 365, as these versions most closely align with the current ICDL certification standards and provide access to the full range of features we'll explore. If you're using Microsoft 365, ensure your subscription includes the desktop version of Excel rather than just the web-based version. While Excel Online offers impressive capabilities, certain advanced features and some interface elements differ from the desktop application that forms the basis of the ICDL exam. The desktop version provides the most comprehensive learning experience and ensures you're practicing with the same tools you'll encounter during certification. Take a few minutes to customize your Excel workspace for efficient learning. Access the File menu, then Options, and familiarize yourself with the various settings available. Consider enabling the Developer tab via Customize ribbon, as we'll use some of its features in later chapters. Also, add frequently used commands to your quick access toolbar, starting with Save, Undo, Redo, and Format Painter to minimize navigation time during exercises. Figure, step-by-step visual guide showing Excel setup process. Display numbered sequence. 1. Accessing Microsoft 365 or installing Excel 2019. 2. Activating Developer tab in Options. 3. Setting up Quick Access Toolbar. 4. Checking for updates. 5. Creating practice folder structure. Include screenshots of key settings with important options highlighted. Your practice environment should include a dedicated folder structure for storing the files you'll create while working through this guide. Create a main folder named Excel ICDL Practice, with subfolders for each chapter, e.g., 01 Gateway, 02 Workbook Basics, etc. This organization will make it easy to reference your previous work and track your progress as you advance through increasingly complex exercises. Finally, adjust your display settings to ensure comfort during extended practice sessions. Set your screen resolution to at least 1366 by 768 to accommodate Excel's interface elements without excessive scrolling. Consider customizing the Office theme to your preference, colorful, dark gray, black, or white, to reduce eye strain during practice. These adjustments might seem minor, but they create a more comfortable and distraction-free environment that supports effective learning. As you complete your environment setup, take a moment to appreciate the journey ahead. You're not just preparing to pass an exam, you're investing in skills that will enhance your professional value for years to come. With your workspace ready and your mindset prepared, you're now positioned to embark on a transformative learning experience that will open new doors of opportunity in your career.
Chapter 2, First Steps, Mastering the Excel Interface. Sections. Section 2.1, The Excel Window, Your Digital Workspace. Section 2.2, The Ribbon, Finding Tools with Ease. Section 2.3, Navigating Between Worksheets and Workbooks. Section 2.4, Customizing Your Excel Experience. Welcome to your first practical session. In Chapter 1, we charted your course and ignited your ambition. Now, it's time to open the cockpit door and get hands-on with the controls. Think of this chapter as your pre-flight check. We won't be flying the plane just yet, but we'll familiarize ourselves with every dial, switch, and display. By the end, the Excel interface will feel less like an intimidating grid of symbols and more like your own personal, organized command center. Section 2.1, The Excel Window, Your Digital Workspace. When you first launch Excel, you're greeted by a screen rich with information and tools. It can feel overwhelming at first glance, but every element has a purpose and a place. This window is your digital workshop, designed to help you build, analyze, and present data with precision and efficiency. Our goal is to make you feel completely at home here. Let's break down the main components of your new workspace. The most prominent feature is the massive grid of cells, known as the worksheet. This is where your data will live. Above the grid, you'll find the formula bar, which displays the content of the currently selected cell. At the very top sits the ribbon, the main toolbar for all of Excel's commands. Running along the bottom are the sheet tabs, which let you navigate between different pages within your file. Getting to know the cell is the first fundamental step. Each rectangle in the grid is a cell, and it can hold text, numbers, or formulas. Cells are identified by their column letter and row number, like coordinates on a map. The cell B5, for example, is in column B and row 5. The currently selected cell is called the active cell, and it's typically highlighted with a green or blue border. Take a moment to click around the grid and watch the formula bar update as you move from one cell to another. Figure, a clean, top-down view of a modern, minimalist desk with a laptop displaying the Excel interface. The main components, ribbon, formula bar, the main grid of the worksheet, with one cell, like B5, highlighted as the active cell, and the sheet tabs at the bottom are clearly labeled with subtle, elegant arrows and text. The lighting is bright and encouraging, and the overall style is a professional infographic with a soft color palette. Understanding this layout is like learning the layout of your kitchen. You know the knives are in the drawer, the spices are on the rack, and the stove is ready for heat. The Excel window is no different. The ribbon holds your tools, the formula bar shows your ingredients, and the worksheet is your counter space where the magic happens. Section 2.2, the ribbon, finding tools with ease. The ribbon is the heart of Excel's command system. It's the long band of icons and menus at the top of the window, designed to replace the old menus and toolbars you might remember from older software. Microsoft engineered the ribbon to be task-oriented, meaning related tools are grouped together logically. This design saves you from hunting through endless menus to find what you need. The ribbon is organized into a hierarchy. At the top level are tabs, such as Home, Insert, Page Layout, and Formulas. Each tab represents a major category of tasks. For example, most of your everyday formatting needs, font changes, alignment, number styles, are on the Home tab. When you need to add something to your sheet, like a chart or a table, you'll naturally head to the Insert tab. Within each tab are groups. For instance, on the Home tab, you'll see the clipboard group for cut, copy, paste, the font group for font type, size, color, bold, italics, and the alignment group. These groups keep related commands together, just as you'd keep all your measuring spoons in one drawer. Finally, within each group are the individual commands, the buttons and drop-down menus you click to perform an action. Figure, a close-up, macro shot of just the ribbon interface. The image should use a clean, diagrammatic style. It should visually highlight the hierarchy, a box around the Home tab labeled a 1. Tab, then boxes around groups within the Home tab like eClipboard and font labeled 2. Group, and finally an arrow pointing to a specific icon like bold labeled a 3. Command. This clearly illustrates the three-tiered structure. Pay close attention to contextual tabs. These are special tabs that only appear when you have a specific object, like a chart or an image, selected. For example, if you click on a chart, new tabs like Chart Design and Format will appear in a different color, giving you specialized tools just for that object. This is Excel being intelligent and showing you only the tools you need, right when you need them. Section 2.3, Navigating between worksheets and workbooks. It's crucial to understand the difference between a workbook and a worksheet. A workbook is the entire Excel file you save, which ends with the .xlsx extension. Think of it as a 3-ring binder. Inside that binder, you can have multiple pages, and each page in Excel is called a worksheet. Every new workbook you create starts with one or more blank worksheets, ready for your data. Navigating between worksheets is simple. Look at the bottom left corner of the Excel window. You'll see a series of tabs with names like Sheet 1, Sheet 2, and so on. Simply click any tab to jump to that worksheet. To the left of these tabs, you'll find navigation arrows to scroll through your sheets if you have too many to fit on the screen. You can also right-click on these navigation arrows to get a list of all sheets, making it easy to jump to one that is far away. Working with multiple workbooks at once is just as common. You might have one workbook for sales data and another for expenses, both open to compare figures. To switch between open workbooks, you can use the View tab on the ribbon and click the Switch Windows button. However, a faster way is often to use your computer's taskbar at the bottom of the screen, where each open workbook will have its own icon. For those who love keyboard shortcuts, navigating between sheets is a breeze. Simply press Ctrl+Page down to move to the next worksheet to the right, and Ctrl+Page up to move to the one on the left. Mastering this small shortcut can significantly speed up your workflow when you're managing large amounts of data across several sheets. Section 2.4 – Customizing your Excel experience. Excel is powerful out of the box, but it becomes truly exceptional when you tailor it to your specific needs. Customization is about creating an environment that works for you, minimizing clicks and maximizing efficiency. This is where you transform Excel from a general tool into your personal data processing assistant. Let's explore how you can make this workspace truly your own. The first and most impactful customization is the Quick Access Toolbar, or QAT. This is the tiny toolbar in the very top left corner of the Excel window, next to the Save icon. By default, it has just a few commands, but you can add any command you use frequently. Think about the tools you reach for over and over again. For me, it's the Format Painter and Merge and Center. Adding these to the QAT means they are always one click away, no matter which ribbon tab is active. To add a command to the QAT, simply find the command anywhere on the ribbon, right-click it, and select Add to Quick Access Toolbar. It's that simple. You can also customize it by clicking the drop-down arrow at the end of the QAT and choosing More Commands. This opens a full dialog where you can search for and add any command Excel has to offer. Author reflection: early in my career, I spent countless extra seconds clicking through tabs to find the Clear Formats command. It felt like a small annoyance, but it added up. The day I discovered I could pin it to my QAT was a minor revelation. It's a perfect example of how a small tweak can lead to a significant reduction in daily friction. I encourage you to think about your own minor annoyances and use customization to eliminate them. Beyond the QAT, you can also customize the ribbon itself through the File options and Customize Ribbon menu. Here you can create your own tabs, add new groups to existing tabs, or hide tabs you never use. While customizing the QAT is a must-do for everyone, modifying the ribbon is a more advanced step for those who want to truly engineer their perfect environment. Finally, explore the General options under the File tab. Here, you can change the default font for new workbooks, the number of worksheets Excel starts with, and even the color scheme. These personal touches make the program feel more familiar and comfortable, reducing the cognitive load of your work and letting you focus on what truly matters, your data.
Chapter 3: Working with Cells and Data Entry. Sections. Section 3.1: Understanding Cell Structure and Properties. Section 3.2: Techniques for Accurate Data Entry. Section 3.3: Selecting, Moving, and Resizing Ranges. Section 3.4: Autofill, Your Time-Saving Superpower. Welcome to the heart of your Excel journey. In the previous chapter, we familiarized ourselves with the landscape, the ribbon, the status bar, the view controls. Now, we shift our focus from looking to doing. This chapter is where you begin to breathe life into your spreadsheet, transforming the empty grid into a dynamic and useful tool. Think of each cell as a digital Lego brick. By itself, it's simple, but together, they can build anything you can imagine. Let's start connecting those bricks. Section 3.1: Understanding Cell Structure and Properties. Before we can build, we must understand our most fundamental component, the cell. Every rectangle in the Excel grid is a cell, and each cell has a unique address, much like a house on a street. This address is a combination of its column letter and row number, such as A1 or D15. Understanding this coordinate system is the first step to communicating precisely with Excel. When you click on a cell, it becomes the active cell, surrounded by a thick green border. Excel tells you exactly which cell is active in two key places. The name box, located to the left of the formula bar, displays the cell's address. Below that, the formula bar shows the cell's actual contents, whether it's text, a number, or a hidden formula. Mastering the relationship between the active cell, the name box, and the formula bar is crucial for your ICDL exam and for building confidence in your daily work. Figure: a clean, brightly lit diagram focusing on a single Excel cell, e.g., C5. One arrow points from the cell itself to the active cell label. A second arrow points from the cell's address in the name box, C5, to the name box label. A third arrow points from the cell's content in the formula bar, e.g., Sales Q1, to the formula bar label. The style should be instructional, like a modern textbook infographic, with a soft shadow and a clean white background. Every cell also has properties you can change, such as the font, color, and alignment. For now, the most important properties are its address and its content. The address tells you where it is, and the content is what it holds. Think of the name box as your GPS locator and the formula bar as your magnifying glass, letting you see exactly what's inside any brick you select. This simple model is the foundation upon which all of Excel's powerful features are built. Section 3.2 Techniques for Accurate Data Entry. Data entry is the act of placing information into our cells. While it might seem straightforward, accuracy and efficiency are paramount. A small typo in a financial report can have significant consequences, so developing good habits now will pay dividends later. Excel is intelligent enough to recognize different types of data automatically, primarily distinguishing between text, numbers, and dates. To enter data, first select a cell by clicking on it. You will see your cursor appear as a blinking line within the cell or in the formula bar. Simply type your information. When you are finished, you have two primary options to confirm your entry. Press Enter to move down to the cell directly below, or press Tab to move to the cell to the right. Choosing the right key can save you a lot of mouse movement and time when filling out rows or columns of data. Editing existing data is just as important. If you need to completely replace the content of a cell, simply click it and type the new information. The old text will be instantly overwritten. However, if you only need to correct a single letter or number, you have a better option. Double-click the cell, or press the F2 key, to enter edit mode, which allows you to navigate within the text using your arrow keys and make precise changes without retyping everything. This distinction between replacing and editing is a key professional skill. Data type: how Excel recognizes its default alignment. Notice the default alignment in the table above. Excel's automatic left alignment for text and right alignment for numbers provides a quick visual cue to help you spot errors. If you see a number that's accidentally formatted as text, it will be on the left side of the cell, immediately alerting you that a calculation using it might fail. This small detail is one of Excel's many built-in helping hands. Section 3.3 Selecting, Moving, and Resizing Ranges. Working with individual cells is essential, but Excel's true power emerges when you manipulate groups of cells simultaneously. A group of one or more cells is called a range. Selecting a range tells Excel, pay attention to all of these cells at once. This is the first step toward formatting, calculating, or manipulating entire blocks of data in a single action. The most common way to select a range is to click the first cell, hold down the left mouse button, and drag to the last cell. The selected range will be highlighted, and the name box will often show you the size of the range, e.g., 3rx4c for 3 rows by 4 columns. For larger spreadsheets, clicking and dragging can be imprecise. A more accurate method is to click the first cell, scroll to the last cell, hold down the Shift key, and then click the last cell. This selects every cell in the rectangular block between your 2 clicks. You can also select entire rows or columns by clicking their headers, the numbers or letters at the edge of the grid. To select multiple adjacent rows or columns, simply click and drag along the headers. To select non-adjacent rows, columns, or cells, hold down the Control key while you make your selections. This technique is invaluable for applying formatting to scattered cells without having to repeat the process. Once a range is selected, you can easily move it. Move your mouse cursor to the thick border of the selected range until it turns into a 4-sided arrow. Then, simply click and drag the entire block to a new location. This is often faster and more intuitive than using the copy and paste commands for moving data within a single worksheet. It's like picking up a stack of papers and moving it to a new spot on your desk. Figure, a 3-part instructional diagram. Part 1 shows a mouse cursor clicking on cell B2 and dragging to cell D4 to create a selected range. Part 2 shows the cursor clicking on cell B2, then scrolling down, holding Shift, and clicking on cell E10 to select a larger range. Part 3 shows the cursor holding Control and clicking on A1, C3, and D5 to select non-adjacent cells. Use a clean, vector style with clear motion trails for the cursor. Finally, you'll often need to adjust the size of your cells to fit the data they contain. To change the width of a column, move your mouse to the line between two column headers, e.g., between A and B. The cursor will change to a double-sided arrow. Click and drag left or right to set the width manually. For a perfect fit, simply double-click that border, and the column will automatically resize to fit the longest piece of content in it. The same technique works for adjusting row heights. This autofit feature is one of those small wonders that makes organizing your data a pleasure. Section 3.4, Autofill, your time-saving superpower. We end this chapter with one of Excel's most delightful and powerful features, autofill. This is the tool that begins to transform Excel from a simple grid into an intelligent assistant. Once you master autofill, you'll wonder how you ever lived without it. It's designed to recognize patterns and automatically fill in data for you, saving you from tedious and error-prone typing. The magic of autofill is controlled by the fill handle, the small green square in the bottom right corner of the active cell or a selected range. When you move your mouse over this handle, your cursor will change to a thin black cross. To use it, you simply click, drag, and release. Excel will attempt to continue the pattern from the original cells. For example, if you type Monday in a cell and drag the fill handle down, Excel will automatically fill in Tuesday, Wednesday, and so on. Autofill works with numbers, dates, days of the week, months, and even custom lists you create yourself. It can also extend simple numeric patterns. If you enter the number 1 in one cell and 2 in the cell below it, select both, and drag the fill handle down, Excel will continue the sequence with 3, 4, 5, and so on. This shows that autofill isn't just repeating, it's intelligently calculating the next steps in the sequence. You can even create more complex patterns, like entering 10, 20, and having autofill continue with 30, 40, 50. Beyond creating sequences, the fill handle is also the fastest way to copy data or formulas. If you have a single piece of data or a calculation in one cell that you want to replicate across a row or column, simply drag the fill handle. Excel will copy the content perfectly into all the highlighted cells. This single action, whether you're extending a series or copying a formula, is a fundamental productivity skill. Embrace the fill handle, and you'll feel your efficiency soar, proving that working smarter is always better than working harder. Figure, a vibrant diagram showcasing autofill in action. Show a cell with Q1 typed in it. An arrow indicates dragging the fill handle down 3 cells. The resulting cells are shown filled with Q2, Q3, and Q4. Include a close-up callout box focusing on the fill handle itself with the label the magic handle. The style should be dynamic and exciting, emphasizing the time-saving aspect.
Chapter 4, Creating Your First Formulas. Sections. Section 4.1, The Anatomy of an Excel Formula. Section 4.2, Using Arithmetic Operators Effectively. Section 4.3, Understanding Relative and Absolute References. Section 4.4, Troubleshooting Common Formula Errors. Welcome to the moment your spreadsheet truly comes to life. In the previous chapter, you learned to place your digital Lego bricks, the individual pieces of data, into the grid. Now, we're going to learn how to make those bricks talk to each other, work together, and build something far greater than the sum of their parts. This is the chapter where you stop just entering data and start creating powerful, intelligent tools. The word formula might sound mathematical and intimidating, but I want you to think of it as a simple recipe. Your ingredients are the numbers and text already in your cells, and the formula is the set of instructions you give Excel to mix, combine, and transform them into a delicious result. I'll be right here with you, breaking down every concept until it feels as natural as typing your own name. Let's begin this exciting transformation from data entry to data mastery. Section 4.1, The Anatomy of an Excel Formula. Every Excel formula, from the simplest to the most complex, begins with the same essential ingredient, the equal sign equal symbol. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a command. When you type equals into a cell, you're flipping a switch that tells Excel, stop treating what I'm about to type as text. Prepare to perform a calculation. It's the single most important character in the world of spreadsheets, signaling the transition from static content to dynamic instruction. Once the equal sign is in place, a formula typically consists of two main parts, operands and operators. Operands are the things you want to calculate, the numbers, the cell addresses that contain numbers, or even text. Operators are the verbs of your formula, they are the actions you want to perform, such as adding, subtracting, or comparing. A simple formula like equals A1 plus B2 has two operands, A1 and B2, and one operator, plus. It's a complete, elegant sentence in the language of Excel. Let's build your very first formula right now. Click into cell A1 and type the number 10. In cell B1, type the number 15. Now, click into cell C1, type equals A1 plus B1, and press Enter. Almost like magic, the number 25 appears. You've just instructed Excel to look at the value in A1, add it to the value in B1, and display the result in C1. If you go back and change the number in A1 to 20, the value in C1 will instantly update to 35. This is the dynamic Power You Now command. Section 4.2, Using Arithmetic Operators Effectively. Figure, extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram showing the anatomy of a formula. The diagram should have a clean, minimalist, infographic style with a soft color palette. A large formula equals A1 plus B2 is centered at the top. Below it, three boxes with connecting arrows point to each part of the formula. The first box, pointing to the equals, is labeled the equal sign, your calculate command. The second box, pointing to A1 and B2, is labeled operands, the ingredients, cell references or values. The third box, pointing to the plus, is labeled operators, the action, e.g., plus, dash, /. The overall feel should be educational and clear, like a page from a modern textbook. Now that you understand the basic structure, let's expand your vocabulary of actions with the core arithmetic operators. These are the fundamental tools you'll use for nearly all your calculations. You're already familiar with the addition sign, plus, but Excel also understands subtraction, multiplication, division, / and exponentiation, to the power of. Mastering these 5 symbols opens up a world of computational possibilities, from simple budgets to complex scientific data. One of the most critical concepts to grasp, which often trips up newcomers, is the order of operations. Excel, like a good calculator, doesn't just read your formula from left to right. It follows a specific mathematical hierarchy known as BODMAS or PEMDAS, brackets parentheses first, then orders to exponents, then division and multiplication, from left to right, and finally addition and subtraction, from left to right. This ensures that a formula like equals 10 plus 25 correctly calculates as 20, not 60, because Excel performs the multiplication before the addition. I always encourage the liberal use of parentheses to control the order and make your formulas easier to read. Even if you don't need them to change the calculation order, they act like signposts, clarifying your intent for both Excel and anyone else who might read your spreadsheet. For example, sad smiley A1 plus B1, C1 is unambiguous. You are explicitly telling Excel to add A1 and B1 first, and then multiply the result by C1. This small habit will save you from countless errors and frustrations down the road. Section 4.3, Understanding Relative and Absolute References. Figure, extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram illustrating the order of operations. The diagram should have a clear, step-by-step visual flow. At the top, a formula like equals D3 plus A2B2, C2 is displayed. Below the formula, a numbered sequence shows the calculation steps. 1. A2B2 is calculated first, multiplication. 2. The result is divided by C2, division. 3. D3 is added to the result, addition. Each step should be visually highlighted within the original formula, with arrows and short explanations. Use a clean, professional, and slightly technical style, suitable for a training manual. This section is where you take a massive leap forward in your Excel journey. It's a concept that separates casual users from proficient power users, and I promise it's much simpler than it sounds. When you copy and paste a formula, Excel needs to know how to adjust the cell references. This adjustment is governed by two types of references, relative and absolute. A relative reference is the default, and it's incredibly intuitive. Think of it like giving directions to your house from a nearby coffee shop: go 2 blocks north and 1 block east. The instructions are relative to the coffee shop's starting point. In Excel, if you have a formula equals A1B1 in cell C1 and you copy it down to C2, Excel intuitively adjusts it to equals A2B2. It assumes you want to perform the same calculation on the next row of data. This is the magic that lets you apply a single formula to thousands of rows in an instant. But what if one part of your formula shouldn't change? What if you're calculating a sales commission for a list of sales, and the commission rate is stored in a single cell, say F1? You need the sales amount to change as you copy the formula down, but the reference to F1 must remain fixed. For this, we use an absolute reference. By typing a $sign symbol before the column letter and row number, like $F$1, you are locking that address. Think of it as giving a specific, fixed address: go to 123 Main Street. It doesn't matter where you're coming from, the destination is always the same. You can also mix them: F$1 locks only the row, $F1 locks only the column, for even more control. Section 4.4, Troubleshooting Common Formula Errors. Figure, extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram comparing relative versus absolute references. The image should be split into two side-by-side Excel-like grids. The left grid, labeled relative reference, shows a formula equals A20.1 in cell B2. An arrow shows this formula being copied down to B3, which automatically becomes equals A30.1. The right grid, labeled absolute reference, shows a tax rate 10% in cell D1, a price in A2, and the formula equals $2D1 in cell B2. An arrow shows this formula being copied down to B3, and the formula correctly becomes equals $3D1, with the reference to D1 remaining locked. The style should be clear, instructional, and use callouts to highlight the key differences. Seeing an ugly error code like value or div in 0 splashed across your spreadsheet can be discouraging. But I want you to reframe your thinking: these errors are not failures. They are messages. Excel is your partner, and it's trying to tell you, in its own language, that something in the instructions you provided is illogical. Once you learn to speak this language, troubleshooting becomes a simple game of detective work. Let's decode the most common messages you'll encounter. Isn't really an error, it simply means the column is too narrow to display the full number or date. Just double-click the right edge of the column header to auto-fit it. The div in 0 error is one of the most common and means you are trying to divide a number by 0, which is mathematically impossible. It often happens when the divisor cell is empty. The fix is to check your divisor cells or use a function like iferror to display a more friendly message. The value error appears when you try to perform a mathematical operation on something that isn't a number, like trying to add 5 to the word apple. The name error suggests Excel doesn't recognize a name in your formula, usually a misspelled function or a named range that doesn't exist. Finally, the ref error means you have an invalid reference, which often occurs if you delete a row, column, or worksheet that a formula was pointing to. Remember, every error has a cause, and every cause has a solution. Approach them with curiosity, not dread. Common error codes and their solutions. Error code: what Excel is telling you how to fix it. You have now armed yourself with the foundational knowledge to make Excel work for you. You can write its language, understand its grammar, and troubleshoot its hiccups. This is a significant milestone on your path to ICDL certification and, more importantly, to genuine workplace proficiency. In the next chapter, we will build on this foundation by exploring the powerful world of functions, which are essentially pre-written formulas designed to make complex tasks simple. Your journey has truly begun.
Chapter 5: Essential Functions for Daily Tasks. Sections. Section 5.1: Sum, Average, Count, your calculation trio. Section 5.2: Max, Minute, and other statistical functions. Section 5.3: Text functions for data cleanup. Section 5.4: Working with dates and times. Welcome to the chapter where your spreadsheet truly becomes your assistant. In Chapter 4, we learned how to create basic formulas, the simple recipes that make your calculations dance. Now, we're expanding your toolkit with Excel's powerful built-in functions. Think of these as specialized kitchen gadgets. While you could chop vegetables with a knife, a food processor gets the job done faster and more consistently. These functions are your productivity boosters, ready to handle complex calculations with just a few keystrokes. Throughout this chapter, you'll discover how to transform raw data into meaningful insights without the heavy lifting. I remember when I first discovered functions, I felt like I'd been given a superpower. Suddenly, tasks that took minutes were completed in seconds, and I could focus on what the numbers were telling me rather than how to calculate them. Let's start building that same efficiency and confidence in your workflow. Section 5.1: Sum, Average, Count, your calculation trio. The three most fundamental functions in Excel form the backbone of everyday data analysis. These are the functions you'll reach for constantly, the reliable workhorses that handle 90% of your calculation needs. Just as every chef masterfully wields their knife, every Excel expert commands these three functions with precision and confidence. They're simple to learn but incredibly powerful in practice. The SUM function does exactly what its name suggests, it adds up numbers. But don't let its simplicity fool you. This function saves countless hours across all industries, from accounting departments calculating quarterly totals to teachers averaging student grades. Unlike manually typing equals A1 plus A2 plus A3, the sum function elegantly handles entire ranges, adapting automatically when you add or remove data. Equals sum, A2 A100, // adds all values from cell A2 to A100. Equals sum, B2, D2, F2, // adds specific non-adjacent cells. Equals sales total / uses a named range for clarity. The average function calculates the arithmetic mean of your numbers, providing immediate insight into typical values. Imagine you're tracking monthly sales figures, while the sum tells you total performance, the average reveals your typical month. This distinction helps you identify unusual periods that might require investigation or celebration. The count family comes in 3 flavors, each serving a unique purpose. Use count for numbers only, counter for any non-empty cells, and count blank for empty cells. This trio helps you understand your data completeness at a glance, essential for data validation and quality checks before analysis. Function counts use case. Practical application, monthly report dashboard. Let's put this trio to work in a realistic scenario. Imagine you're creating a monthly performance dashboard for your team. You have sales data in column A, with some cells possibly empty for days without sales. Your goal is to create summary statistics that update automatically as new data arrives. Start by using counter to determine how many days have data, then sum for total sales, and finally average for daily performance. The beauty of this approach? As you add new data throughout the month, these figures update instantly, no manual recalculations needed. This dynamic nature transforms static spreadsheets into living documents. Figure, a clean Excel dashboard showing monthly sales data with summary statistics boxes displaying total sales, sum, average daily sales, average, and number of selling days, count. Include visual indicators like green up arrows for good performance. The layout should be professional with clear labels and subtle color coding. Section 5.2, Max, Minute, and other statistical functions. While the calculation trio gives you the big picture, statistical functions help you understand the extremes and patterns within your data. These functions are like adding zoom lenses to your analytical camera. They let you focus on specific aspects that might otherwise get lost in averages and totals. Understanding these outliers often reveals more actionable insights than the central tendencies. The max and minute functions identify your highest and lowest values respectively. They're your instant highlight reels, immediately pointing to exceptional performance or concerning dips. I once used these functions to help a retail client discover that their best sales day wasn't during their big promotion week as expected, but on an ordinary Tuesday, leading to a complete reassessment of their marketing strategy. Max, C2 C365, / finds the highest sales figure in a year. Min, D2 D365, / identifies the lowest temperature recorded. Max, IF, A2 A100 equals productor, B2 B100, / complex criteria with array formula. The median function provides the middle value when all numbers are sorted, offering a robust alternative to average when dealing with skewed data. Consider a neighborhood where most homes are worth $250,000, but one mansion is worth $10 million. The average would suggest typical homes are worth over $300,000, while median correctly identifies $250,000 as more representative of the typical home value. The rank.eq and rank.average functions provide ranking capabilities, essential for performance evaluations and competitive analyses. While rank.eq assigns identical ranks to ties, rank.average gives the average rank to tied values. Choose based on whether ties represent equal achievement or require differentiation for decision-making purposes. Figure: a side-by-side comparison chart showing the same dataset analyzed with both average and median. Include a clear visual of how outliers, marked in red, dramatically affect the average but leave the median stable. Use professional business chart styling with clear labels and a legend. Advanced statistics without the math degree. Excel makes sophisticated statistical analysis accessible through functions that would once have required specialized software. The stdev.s and stdev.p functions calculate standard deviation for samples and populations respectively, measuring how spread out your numbers are from the average. A low standard deviation indicates consistency, while high values suggest volatility. The quartile.accept and quartile.inc functions divide your data into quarters, perfect for understanding distribution patterns. These are invaluable for creating box plots or identifying which customers fall into your top 25% by revenue. Quartiles help you move beyond simple averages to nuanced segmentation of your data. Section 5.3, Text Functions for Data Cleanup. If you've ever received data from multiple sources, you know that cleaning text data can feel like herding cats. Names appear in different cases, extra spaces sneak in, and numbers hide within text strings. Excel's text functions are your data cleaning crew, transforming messy, inconsistent data into clean, reliable information ready for analysis. Master these functions, and you'll save hours of manual correction. The trim function removes extra spaces from text, tackling the invisible gremlins that cause matching failures and sorting issues. I once helped a non-profit fix their donor database where John Smith and John Smith were treated as different people, all because of trailing spaces. A simple trim application, combined with removing duplicates, solved what they thought was a massive data integrity problem. Trim, A2, / removes extra spaces from text in A2. Proper, B2, / converts John Smith to John Smith. Upper, C2, / converts text to uppercase for codes. Lower, D2, / converts text to lowercase for email addresses. The proper, upper, and lower functions control text case, essential for maintaining consistency across your datasets. Proper capitalizes the first letter of each word, perfect for names and addresses. Upper ensures uniformity for codes and identifiers, while lower standardizes email addresses for matching and deduplication. The left, right, and mid functions extract portions of text based on character position, invaluable for parsing structured text like product codes or phone numbers. Combined with find or search to locate specific characters, you can extract components dynamically, adapting to varying text lengths. Combining functions for powerful data transformation. Real-world data cleanup often requires combining multiple functions. Imagine you need to extract area codes from phone numbers in various formats. You might use mid with find to locate the opening parenthesis, handling different formats gracefully. This is where Excel truly shines. Function chaining creates solutions that adapt to messy real-world data. The concatenate function, or the AND operator, combines text from multiple cells, essential for creating full names from first and last name columns, or building complete addresses from components. The textjoin function, available in newer Excel versions, adds flexibility with delimiter options and the ability to ignore empty cells automatically. Figure, a step-by-step transformation showing how 555, 123, 4567 becomes 555 using a combination of trim, mid, find, and substitute functions. Include the intermediate results at each step with color coding to highlight which part is being extracted at each stage. The substitute and replace functions modify text content, perfect for removing unwanted characters or standardizing formats. Use substitute to replace specific text strings anywhere they appear, while replace changes text at specific positions. Together with text extraction functions, you can transform virtually any text format to meet your needs. Section 5.4, Working with dates and times. Dates and times in Excel are deceptively simple to enter but surprisingly powerful to manipulate. What looks like January 1st, 2024 to us is actually a serial number, 45291, to Excel, counting days from January 1st, 1900. This numerical foundation enables incredible date calculations and manipulations, turning simple date entries into dynamic scheduling tools and timeline analyzers. The today and now functions provide current date and time information, automatically updating each time your worksheet recalculates. These functions are the heart of dynamic dashboards and trackers. I've used today extensively for creating project management templates that automatically highlight overdue tasks or calculate remaining days until deadlines. Equals today, / returns current date. Equals now, / returns current date and time. Equals a date, today, 3, / date 3 months from today. Equals network days, A2, B2, / working days between two dates. The dateDiff function, though undocumented in Excel's function list, is a hidden gem for calculating the difference between dates in years, months, or days. It's perfect for calculating ages, service periods, or project durations. The third argument, Y, M, or D, determines the unit of measurement, providing flexibility for various reporting needs. The year-month function returns the last day of a month, offset by a specified number of months. This is invaluable for financial reporting, lease calculations, or any scenario where you need to work with month-end dates. Combined with date arithmetic, you can create sophisticated date-based calculations without worrying about varying month lengths. Time calculations and formatting. Time functions handle the fractional part of Excel's date serial numbers, enabling precise time-based calculations. The hour, minute, and second functions extract components from time values, while time arithmetic allows you to calculate durations, add hours to timestamps, or determine time differences across days. When working with times, remember that Excel stores them as fractions of a day. 6 hours is stored as 0.25. To display hours and minutes correctly, use custom number formats like H, mm to display total hours beyond 24, preventing confusing results like 130 for 25 hours and 30 minutes. This format brackets the hour to accumulate beyond 24-hour cycles. Figure, a timesheet calculation showing start time, end time, and total hours worked with automatic break time deduction. Include formulas demonstrating how to handle time calculations that span midnight, with visual highlighting of overnight shifts. Use a clean, professional timesheet layout. The Workday and NetWorkdays functions calculate working days, excluding weekends and optionally holidays. These functions are essential for project planning, delivery date calculations, or any business process that operates on business days only. Create a range of holiday dates, and these functions automatically exclude them from calculations, saving you from manual calendar counting. Author's reflection. As we conclude this chapter, I want to share something that transformed my relationship with Excel functions. When I started, I treated them as isolated tools, each with a specific purpose. Over time, I realized they're more like musical notes, simple on their own, but capable of creating symphonies when combined thoughtfully. The most elegant solutions often involve layering multiple functions in ways that seem obvious in retrospect but require practice to discover. Functions remove the friction between your analytical questions and Excel's answers. They're not just about efficiency, they're about empowerment. Each function you master expands what's possible, turning data exploration from a chore into a creative process. In the next chapter, we'll build on these foundations to explore logical functions that add decision-making capabilities to your spreadsheets.
Chapter 6: Bringing Data to Life with Charts. Sections. Section 6.1: Choosing the right chart type for your data. Section 6.2: Creating charts from scratch. Section 6.3: Formatting charts for maximum impact. Section 6.4: Adding trend lines and data labels. Welcome to the chapter where your numbers transform into stories. In our previous adventures together, you've learned to organize data in cells and create powerful formulas that perform calculations. Now, it's time to give those results a voice that everyone can understand instantly. Charts are the visual language of data, translating rows and columns into insights that leap off the page at first glance. I've seen countless students experience the aha moment when a confusing spreadsheet suddenly makes sense after adding the right chart. It's like watching a black and white movie suddenly burst into color. Throughout this chapter, I'll guide you through not just the technical steps of creating charts, but the art of choosing the right visual representation for your message. By the end, you'll have the confidence to turn any dataset into a compelling visual narrative. Section 6.1: Choosing the right chart type for your data. Before you click any chart buttons, let's think strategically. The right chart type acts like a lens, bringing certain aspects of your data into sharp focus while others recede into the background. Choose poorly, and your message might become distorted or lost entirely. I encourage you to pause before each chart creation and ask yourself, what story am I trying to tell with this data? For comparison among categories, bar charts are your trusted workhorses. They're like a lineup of competitors, each standing proudly to show their value. When you need to track changes over time, line charts step in as the storyteller of progression, connecting moments in a continuous journey. Pie charts, when used sparingly, excel at showing how parts make up a whole. Think of them as the family portrait of your proportional data. Understanding common chart types. Column and bar charts serve as the foundation of most business visualizations. They're the clear, direct communicators of your data story. The choice between them often comes down to space considerations and label readability: vertical columns for time series data, horizontal bars when category names are lengthy. I found that rotating a column chart to a bar chart can transform a cramped visualization into one that breathes with clarity. Line charts capture movement and change in ways static numbers cannot. Each point on the line represents a moment in time, connected to reveal trends, patterns, and the rhythm of your data. For financial data, temperature changes, or any metric tracked across intervals, the line chart is your narratorial voice, carrying the reader through the story of evolution. Pie charts demand respect through careful application. Use them when you have fewer than 7 categories that sum to a meaningful whole. Each slice should be immediately distinguishable in size, avoiding the trap of tiny slivers that become meaningless. Remember, not all data is pie-worthy. Sometimes, a simple bar chart tells the same story with greater precision and less cognitive strain for your audience. Section 6.2: Creating charts from scratch. Now, let's roll up our sleeves and bring your first chart to life. The process begins not with the ribbon, but with thoughtful data preparation. Your chart is only as good as the data beneath it, so ensure your range is clean, properly formatted, and free of empty rows or columns that might confuse Excel's interpretation. I always recommend highlighting your data range first. This simple habit prevents many common charting frustrations. With your data selected, navigate to the Insert tab and find the Charts group. Excel offers two paths here: Recommended Charts, where Excel suggests options based on your data pattern, or the direct approach through specific chart type buttons. For ICDL candidates, I encourage exploring both methods. Recommended charts can be illuminating, showing you possibilities you might not have considered, while the direct route builds your confidence in making intentional choices. The chart creation workflow. Figure: annotated screenshot of the Excel interface showing the highlighted data range and the Insert tab with the Charts group expanded. Numbers indicate the sequence. 1. Select data. 2. Click Insert tab. 3. Choose chart type from Charts group. Once you've chosen your chart type and clicked, Excel works its magic instantly. But our work has just begun. Notice how your chart appears with default formatting, often functional but rarely optimized for your specific message. The new Chart Design and Format tabs appear, offering customization options that transform the generic into the personalized. This is where your visual storytelling skills begin to shine. Your newly created chart consists of several key components, each adjustable through right-click options or the Chart Design ribbon. The chart area serves as your canvas, while the plot area contains the actual data visualization. Axes provide reference points, titles offer context, and a legend decodes your colors or patterns. Understanding these elements as independent controls rather than a single image empowers you to fine-tune every aspect of your visualization. Section 6.3 – Formatting Charts for Maximum Impact. Figure: an exploded diagram of a chart with all components labeled: chart area, plot area, chart title, horizontal axis, vertical axis, axis titles, data series, legend, and data labels. A well-formatted chart communicates your message before your audience reads a single number. Think of formatting as the difference between a rough draft and a polished document. Both contain the same information, but one respects the reader's time and attention. Begin with your chart title, transforming the generic chart title placeholder into a meaningful headline that captures the essence of your data story in 10 words or fewer. Color choices should serve clarity over decoration. Excel's default color schemes have improved dramatically, but professional charts often benefit from thoughtful customization. Consider using your organization's brand colors for consistency, or apply color psychology principles: warm colors for emphasis, cool colors for background elements. The most effective charts use color deliberately to guide the eye to the most important elements rather than creating a rainbow that competes for attention. Advanced formatting techniques. Figure: a split-screen comparison showing the same chart with default formatting on the left and professional formatting on the right, highlighting changes to title, color scheme, font choices, and removal of grid lines. Grid lines often create unnecessary visual noise in your charts. Try removing them entirely or reducing their opacity to let your data stand out. Similarly, consider whether you need both horizontal and vertical grid lines, or if one orientation provides sufficient reference. I frequently remove the vertical lines from bar charts, as the bars themselves provide clear visual separation without the added clutter. Font choices contribute significantly to chart professionalism. Excel defaults to Calibri, which works well, but ensuring consistency with your document's other elements creates cohesion. More importantly, establish a clear visual hierarchy. Make your title larger than axis labels, which should be larger than data labels if you choose to include them. Every formatting decision should answer the question: does this make my data easier to understand? For those preparing for ICDL certification, the Format Chart Area pane is your powerhouse for precision formatting. Right-click any chart element and select Format to access granular controls over fills, borders, effects, and sizing. The ability to specify exact dimensions, transparency percentages, and shadow depths demonstrates the technical proficiency expected at this level. Section 6.4 – Adding trend lines and data labels. Trend lines transform static charts into analytical tools by revealing patterns not immediately visible in the raw data. They're the statistical equivalent of connecting the dots, showing the underlying trajectory beneath daily fluctuations. For business presentations, a trend line can answer questions about performance direction before anyone even asks. To add one, simply right-click a data series and select Add Trend Line, then choose from linear, exponential, or polynomial options based on your data pattern. Data labels bring precision to your visualizations by displaying exact values directly on your chart elements. They serve as the bridge between visual impact and numerical accuracy. However, use them judiciously. Too many labels can create clutter that defeats the purpose of visualization. I recommend adding labels only for key data points that you want to emphasize, such as the highest value, the lowest point, or significant milestones in your data timeline. Advanced chart elements. Figure, a line chart with 3 variations shown side by side. 1. Basic chart. 2. Same chart with a linear trend line and R-squared value displayed. 3. Chart with selective data labels on peak and trough points. Error bars communicate data uncertainty or variability, essential for scientific or statistical presentations. They provide visual context about the precision of your measurements, showing the potential range of values around each data point. For ICDL candidates, understanding when to use error bars demonstrates advanced data literacy beyond basic charting skills. Data tables offer a compromise between pure visualization and detailed reporting. By adding a data table below your chart, you provide the exact values while maintaining the visual impact of the chart itself. This approach works particularly well in formal reports where readers might want to verify calculations or extract specific numbers without referring back to the original spreadsheet. Combination charts, while more complex, offer powerful storytelling capabilities by blending different chart types. Imagine a column chart showing sales volumes overlaid with a line chart displaying profit margins. This dual-axis approach allows you to present 2 different metrics with different scales in a single, cohesive visualization. Mastering combination charts signals true proficiency in Excel's charting capabilities. As we close this chapter, remember that charts are not just decorative elements but powerful communication tools. The ability to transform data into compelling visualization sets apart average spreadsheet users from exceptional ones. Your journey through Excel continues to build, with each skill adding to your growing repertoire of professional capabilities. The charts you create today will become the insights that drive decisions tomorrow.
Chapter 7: Professional Formatting Techniques. Sections. Section 7.1, Cell Formatting Basics. Section 7.2, Using Conditional Formatting Dynamically. Section 7.3, Creating Professional Tables. Section 7.4, Applying Styles and Themes Consistently. Welcome to the chapter where your spreadsheets get their professional polish. In our journey together, you've built the engine with formulas and functions, and you've given it a voice with charts. Now, it's time to focus on the finish, the bodywork, the paint job, and the interior details that turn a functional machine into a masterpiece. This is where your work stops looking like a simple grid of numbers and starts communicating with clarity, confidence, and authority. Think of formatting as the visual grammar of your spreadsheet. Just as proper grammar makes a report easy to read, effective formatting guides the viewer's eye to what matters most. It reduces cognitive load, prevents misinterpretation, and reflects a high standard of quality. Throughout this chapter, I will guide you through the essential techniques that will make your work not only correct but also compelling. Get ready to transform your data from information into polished insight. Section 7.1, Cell Formatting Basics. Before we can create dynamic and automated styles, we must first master the fundamental building blocks. Cell formatting is the art of controlling the appearance of individual cells or ranges. While it may seem basic, a firm grasp of these fundamentals is the foundation upon which all professional formatting is built. We'll explore the primary tools on the Home tab, giving you precise control over every visual aspect of your data. Remember, the goal isn't just to make things pretty. It's about creating a clear visual hierarchy. The most important numbers should stand out, labels should be distinct, and related data should be visually grouped. By the end of this section, you'll be equipped to make intentional design choices that enhance understanding and guide your audience to the conclusions you want them to draw. The font, alignment, and number groups. The appearance of your data is defined by 3 core groups on the Home tab: font, alignment, and number. The font group controls the typeface, size, color, and emphasis, like bold, italics, and underline. Use these to distinguish headers from data or to draw attention to critical figures. A subtle change in font color can indicate a status, while bold text makes a title undeniable. The alignment group is all about positioning within the cell. Left-aligning text and right-aligning numbers is a standard convention that makes columns easier to scan vertically. Centering is excellent for titles and headers. Don't forget the versatile orientation and indent options, which can help you fit more information neatly into a tight space. Finally, the number group is perhaps the most crucial for accuracy. A number is just a character until you give it context. Is it currency, a percentage, a date, or plain text? Applying the correct number format, e.g., currency, percentage, short date, ensures your numbers are not just displayed correctly but are understood without ambiguity. Misinterpreting $1,000 as $1,000 is a mistake professional formatting helps prevent. Mastering borders and fill. Figure, an ultra-detailed, close-up screenshot of the Excel home ribbon. The font group, alignment group, and number group are each highlighted with a soft, glowing color. Arrows point to key icons like bold, align right, and the number format dropdown, with concise, legible annotations explaining their primary functions. The style is clean, instructional, and modern. If fonts and alignment are the words, then borders and fill are the punctuation and paragraph breaks. Borders create structure and define the boundaries of your data. A simple outer border around a data set instantly groups it together and separates it from other information on the sheet. You can use interior borders to create a clear grid, making it easy to trace a row to its header. The fill tool, which controls the background color of a cell, is your primary tool for creating emphasis. Use a subtle fill color to alternate rows, a technique called banding, and improve readability. Use a more pronounced color to highlight a summary row, a target value, or a cell that requires user input. The key is subtlety. Overwhelming your sheet with too many colors will create chaos, not clarity. For ultimate control, right-click any cell and choose Format Cells. This dialog box is the command center for all cell-level formatting, housing advanced options for custom number formats, protective cell locking, and intricate border styles. Getting comfortable with this dialog box is a major step toward spreadsheet mastery. Section 7.2, Using Conditional Formatting Dynamically. Welcome to one of Excel's most powerful features for bringing your data to life. So far, we've been applying static formatting. We decide how a cell should look, and it stays that way. Conditional formatting changes the game. It allows you to apply formatting automatically based on the cell's own value or the value of another cell. It's like hiring a meticulous assistant who constantly watches your data and highlights what's important. Imagine a sales report. Instead of manually searching for the top performers, you can use conditional formatting to automatically highlight the top 10% in green and the bottom 10% in red. Or think of a project tracker. You can have tasks that are past their due date automatically turn red. This dynamic approach not only saves you immense amounts of time but also transforms your spreadsheet into a real-time dashboard that provides instant visual feedback. Highlighting top-bottom rules and data bars. The easiest way to get started with conditional formatting is with the built-in rules in the Conditional Formatting menu on the Home tab. The top-bottom rules are incredibly intuitive. You can instantly highlight cells that are above or below average, or that fall within the top or bottom N items or %. This is perfect for performance reviews, sales leaderboards, or identifying outliers in a dataset. For a more visual representation, data bars are a fantastic choice. They apply a gradient or solid fill bar directly within the cell, with the length of the bar corresponding to the cell's value relative to other cells in the range. This allows you to create an in-cell bar chart, making it easy to compare values at a glance without even needing a separate chart object. Creating custom rules with formulas. Figure, a split-screen visual. On the left, a plain column of sales figures. On the right, the exact same column with blue data bars applied. The transition between the two is highlighted with a sweeping arrow. A callout points to a cell, showing how the length of the bar visually represents its high value compared to others. The style is clean, high contrast, and focused on the before and after impact. The true power of conditional formatting is unlocked when you create your own rules using formulas. This allows you to apply formatting based on any condition you can dream up. You access this by going to Conditional Formatting New Rule. Use a formula to determine which cells to format. Let's use a practical example, highlighting an entire row of a project list if the task is overdue. If the due date is in column D, you could select your entire data range and use a formula like equals $D2 today. The $sign before D is crucial. It locks the formula to column D, while the relative row reference to ensures Excel checks each row individually. The result is a smart, responsive spreadsheet that flags issues for you automatically. Section 7.3, Creating Professional Tables. In Excel, there is a world of difference between a range of cells that looks like a table and a formal Excel table object. While formatting a range manually is fine for small tasks, converting your data into a proper table unlocks a suite of powerful features designed for managing and analyzing information. Think of it as the difference between a sketch and a formal blueprint. The blueprint has structure, rules, and intelligence built in. Author's reflection: I can't stress this enough, learning to use Excel tables was a major turning point in my own productivity. It automates so much of the tedious setup work, leaving me free to focus on the analysis. Once you make the switch, you'll wonder how you ever managed without them. Let's explore how to build this foundational tool. Why use a table over a range? Creating a table, insert table or Ctrl+T, immediately provides several benefits. First, it applies professional, sortable formatting automatically, including banded rows and filter drop-downs on each header. Second, it introduces structured references. Instead of writing a formula like equals sum, C2 C100, you can write equals sum, sales table, revenue. This is far more readable and, crucially, it's dynamic. If you add new rows to the table, the formula updates automatically. Furthermore, tables manage named ranges for you, making it easier to reference data in other parts of your workbook or in pivot tables. The total row can be toggled on with a single click, providing instant access to summary functions like SUM, average, or count for any column. For anyone working with lists of data, tables are not just a recommendation, they are the best practice. Creating and customizing your table. To create a table, simply click anywhere inside your data range and press Ctrl+T. Ensure the My Table Has Headers box is checked if you have a title row. Instantly, Excel applies formatting and adds filter controls. A new contextual tab appears on the ribbon, Table Design. This is your command center for the table. Here, you can instantly change the color scheme from a gallery of professional, pre-designed styles. You can toggle on options like total row, first column, and banded columns to customize the look. Most importantly, you can rename your table from the default Table 1 to something meaningful like Employee Data or Q4 Sales. This name is what you'll use in your structured references, making your formulas readable and self-documenting. Section 7.4, Applying Styles and Themes Consistently. We've now covered formatting at the cell level, the conditional level, and the structured table level. Our final step is to zoom out and consider the entire document. How do you ensure that all your charts, tables, and cell formatting work together to create a single, cohesive, and professional-looking report? The answer lies in Excel's styles and themes. Think of a theme as a central style guide for your entire workbook. A theme is a pre-packaged set of colors, fonts, and effects that work harmoniously together. When you apply a new theme, it doesn't just change the font in one cell, it updates the fonts for headers, body text, and even the text in your charts. The same goes for colors. This is the secret to creating documents that have a consistent, branded, and polished look with just a few clicks. Understanding the difference: cell styles versus themes. It's common to confuse cell styles and themes, but they operate at different levels. A cell style is a saved collection of formatting instructions you can apply to a cell, e.g., heading 1, currency, good. You can create your own custom styles, which is fantastic for ensuring consistency within a single sheet. A theme, on the other hand, is a document level setting. It dictates the palette of colors and the set of fonts that your cell styles and chart elements will draw from. For example, the accent 1 color in a cell style will change if you switch the workbook's theme from Office to Integral. In short, use styles to format objects, and use themes to control the colors and fonts those styles use. Building a cohesive look with themes. To see the power of themes in action, create a simple chart and a table. Then, go to the Page Layout tab and click the Themes drop-down. Hover your mouse over different theme options like Berlin, Facet, or Wisp. Watch as your entire workbook transforms before your eyes: the fonts, the colors of your chart series, the color of your table style, everything updates to reflect the new, coordinated design. This is the ultimate time saver for anyone who needs to produce professional reports regularly. You can build a report template and, with one click, completely change its entire visual identity to match a client's branding or a corporate standard. Mastering themes elevates your work from a collection of formatted sheets to a truly professional and polished document. Figure: a triptych-style image showing the same Excel dashboard 3 times. The first dashboard uses the default Office theme. The second shows the same dashboard with a modern, dark theme like Integral applied. The third shows it with a vibrant, colorful theme like Wisp. Arrows and labels point out how the chart colors, table styles, and fonts have all changed cohesively in each version, demonstrating the power of themes.
Chapter 8: Data Management Essentials. Sections. Section 8.1: Sorting data for better organization. Section 8.2: Filtering to find what matters. Section 8.3: Working with multiple sheets. Section 8.4: Data validation for quality control. Welcome to the chapter where you become the curator of your data museum. In our journey together, you've learned to arrange your cells meticulously, craft formulas that perform calculations like master chefs, create functions that work like specialized tools, bring numbers to life with charts, and apply formatting that makes your spreadsheet shine with professionalism. Now, we step into the role of a librarian who doesn't just organize books, but create systems that help anyone find exactly what they need, exactly when they need it. Data management is the art of bringing order to chaos without losing the story within. Think of yourself as a master librarian who knows not just where every book is, but how they connect to each other, how to find hidden treasures, and how to protect the collection from errors. Throughout this chapter, I'll guide you through techniques that transform overwhelming data sets into manageable, navigable landscapes of information. Section 8.1: Sorting data for better organization. Sorting is your first powerful tool for making sense of data chaos. Imagine you've inherited a massive spreadsheet containing thousands of customer orders, all entered randomly over months. Finding the highest value order or the most recent customer would be like searching for a specific grain of sand on a beach. Sorting is like having a magical assistant who instantly rearranges everything according to your exact specifications. The beauty of Excel's sorting capabilities lies in their simplicity and power. With just a few clicks, you can rearrange entire data sets alphabetically, numerically, or even by custom criteria you define yourself. It's like being able to instantly rearrange your entire library by author, title, publication date, or even color, without ever losing track of which book belongs where. Understanding primary and secondary sort levels. When sorting, you'll often need to think in layers. Imagine organizing a music collection. You might first sort by artist, then by album release date, then by track number. Each level builds upon the previous one, creating a hierarchy that makes perfect sense. Excel allows you to apply up to 64 levels of sorting criteria, though you'll rarely need more than 2 or 3 for most practical situations. Let's work through a real-world example. Imagine you're managing a sales team's performance spreadsheet. Your primary sort might be by sales region, north, south, east, west, then by total sales amount in descending order, and finally by salesperson name alphabetically. This creates a crystal clear picture that tells a story: which regions are performing best, who the top performers are in each region, and how everyone ranks within their geographical area. Practical sorting techniques. The Sort dialog box is your command center for arranging data. You'll find it on the Data tab of the ribbon, and while it looks straightforward, it hides impressive power beneath its surface. Check the My Data has headers option to protect your column titles from being sorted into the data. This is like telling your librarian not to shuffle the fiction and non-fiction assigns with the books themselves. For more complex sorting needs, Excel offers custom lists. Perhaps you need to sort by priority levels: critical, high, medium, low, rather than alphabetically. You can teach Excel your preferred order, and it will remember it for future use. This is particularly valuable in business environments where certain statuses or categories have logical orders that don't follow conventional alphabetical or numerical patterns. Section 8.2, Filtering to find what matters. Figure, detailed tutorial screenshot showing Excel's sort dialog box with multiple sort levels configured, including a custom list for priority levels, with clear annotations explaining each field. If sorting is like organizing your library, filtering is like having a magical magnifying glass that instantly highlights exactly what you're looking for while temporarily hiding everything else. Filtering doesn't change your data, it simply reveals different perspectives, like adjusting the focus on a camera to bring different elements into sharp relief. This distinction is crucial. Filtering is temporary and non-destructive, making it perfect for exploration and analysis. Imagine you're staring at a spreadsheet with 10,000 rows of customer data. Trying to find all customers from London who spent over £500 in the last quarter would be overwhelming manually. With filtering, it becomes a matter of a few clicks. Suddenly, those specific customers are all you see, while the other 900 plus rows wait patiently in the wings, ready to reappear when you need them. Mastering basic auto-filter. The auto-filter feature is your entry point into data exploration. Those little drop-down arrows that appear in your header row when you activate filtering are more than they seem. Each one is a gateway to understanding your data's composition. Clicking one reveals not just the values in that column, but how many times each appears. It's like having a miniature census of your data at your fingertips. I encourage students to spend time just exploring these filter drop-downs before they even apply filters. You'll discover data quality issues you never knew existed: duplicate entries, misspellings, unexpected formats. These drop-downs are like diagnostic tools that help you understand the health of your data before you begin working with it in earnest. Advanced filtering with criteria ranges. Sometimes, autofilter isn't precise enough for complex queries. This is where Excel's advanced filter comes into play, allowing you to set up sophisticated criteria ranges that can combine multiple conditions with an OR logic. Think of it as moving from a simple magnifying glass to a laboratory microscope with interchangeable lenses for different levels of magnification and detail. Setting up an advanced filter might seem intimidating at first, but it follows a beautifully logical pattern. You create a small criteria table above your main data, where each row represents an OR condition and columns within a row represent an conditions. It's like writing a sentence: show me customers who are from London and spent over £500, OR, from Manchester and are repeat buyers. This structured approach to filtering is one of Excel's most powerful, yet underutilized, features. Section 8.3, Working with multiple sheets. Figure, flowchart diagram showing the logic of advanced filtering criteria, with clear examples of and/or conditions laid out in a criteria range format. Working with multiple sheets is like having a filing cabinet where each drawer contains related but distinct information. Just as you wouldn't toss all your documents into one chaotic pile, you'll often need to organize related data across different sheets while maintaining connections between them. This is where Excel transforms from a simple calculator into a comprehensive data management system. The beauty of multiple sheets lies in their ability to keep related information separate yet connected. Imagine managing a company's finances. You might have one sheet for the current month's transactions, another for the previous month, a third for budget projections, and a fourth for summary reports. Each sheet tells part of the story, and together they create a complete financial narrative that's both organized and comprehensive. Navigating and organizing sheets. Excel provides intuitive tools for managing your collection of sheets. Those tabs at the bottom of your screen are like drawer pulls. Click one to open that specific set of data. You can rename them for clarity, color-code them for visual organization, and even group them to perform simultaneous operations. I always encourage my students to think of their tabs as a table of contents for their spreadsheet project. Each name should clearly communicate its contents and purpose. Consider this real-world example. A project manager tracking multiple aspects of a large project might use tabs named Budget, Timeline, Team Assignments, Risk Assessment, and Progress Reports. By color-coding critical sheets in red and informational ones in blue, they create an intuitive visual system that communicates importance at a glance. This level of organization makes complex projects manageable and reduces the cognitive load of navigating between different aspects of your work. Creating powerful 3D formulas. When you need to perform calculations across multiple sheets, Excel's 3D references become indispensable. A 3D formula is like having a calculator that can reach across different drawers in your filing cabinet to gather information before performing its calculation. The syntax might look unusual at first, equal sum, sheet 1, sheet 3, A1, but once understood, it opens up powerful possibilities for consolidated reporting. Imagine you're tracking monthly sales data across 12 different sheets, one for each month. A 3D formula can instantly calculate the annual total without requiring you to manually create summary links to each sheet. Even more powerfully, if you add a new month between the first and last sheets in your range, the formula automatically includes it. This dynamic nature makes 3D references perfect for dashboards and summary reports that need to adapt as your data grows. Section 8.4 Data Validation for Quality Control. Figure, visual diagram showing 3D formula concept, with sheets fanning out like cards and a formula visually connecting cells across multiple sheets. Data validation is your quality control department, working silently in the background to ensure that only appropriate data enters your cells. Think of it as having a meticulous gatekeeper who checks every entry against your predetermined rules before allowing it to settle into your spreadsheet. This proactive approach prevents errors at their source rather than forcing you to hunt them down later, a crucial time saver in any data-intensive environment. The real power of data validation lies in its ability to make spreadsheets foolproof, even when used by others who might not understand your data structure. Imagine creating a spreadsheet for data entry where the date column only accepts valid dates, the department column only allows values from a predefined list, and the budget column only permits numbers within a specific range. Suddenly, your spreadsheet becomes intelligent, guiding users toward correct entries rather than allowing mistakes to creep in unnoticed. Setting up validation rules. Excel's data validation tool, found on the Data tab, offers a surprisingly rich set of options. You can restrict entries to whole numbers, decimals, lists, dates, times, or even text length. Each setting comes with customizable parameters that let you fine-tune exactly what's acceptable. It's like having a set of precision filters that can be adjusted to any granularity you need for your specific situation. One of my favorite validation techniques is using lists to create drop-down menus. Instead of letting users type department names, you provide a drop-down list containing only valid options. This not only prevents misspellings and variations but also makes data entry faster and more user-friendly. I once helped an administrative assistant reduce data entry errors by 80% simply by replacing free text entry fields with drop-down validation lists, a testament to how powerful this seemingly simple feature can be. Creating custom validation formulas. For truly sophisticated validation needs, Excel allows you to create custom formulas that determine whether an entry is acceptable. This is where validation transforms from a simple gatekeeper into a truly intelligent assistant that can understand complex business rules. Custom validation formulas can check entries against other cells, prevent duplicate values, or ensure consistency across related fields. Consider this practical example. You're creating an expense report form where you need to ensure that the reimbursement amount doesn't exceed the specified limit for each expense category. A custom validation formula can compare the entered amount against a lookup table of category limits, rejecting entries that violate company policy. This level of intelligence makes your spreadsheet not just a data collection tool, but an active participant in maintaining business rules and data integrity. Throughout this chapter, we've explored the essential tools that transform Excel from a simple calculator into a comprehensive data management system. These skills, sorting, filtering, working with multiple sheets, and validating data, form the foundation of professional spreadsheet use. As you continue your ICDL journey, remember that these techniques aren't just about managing data, they're about creating clarity from chaos, telling stories with numbers, and building tools that make others more effective in their work. Figure, step-by-step visual guide showing the data validation dialog box with various settings, including a custom formula example with explanatory callouts. The real mastery comes from combining these techniques in creative ways that solve your specific challenges. As we move forward in our Excel journey, keep these data management essentials in your toolkit. They'll serve you well in everything from simple lists to complex, multi-sheet dashboards that power business decisions.
Chapter 9. Advanced Functions and Features. Sections. Section 9.1. IF Statements for Decision Making. Section 9.2. VLOOKUP and PivotTables for Data Retrieval. Section 9.3. Financial Functions for Planning. Section 9.4. Nested Functions for Complex Calculations. Welcome to the chapter where you teach your spreadsheet to think for itself. Throughout our journey, you've meticulously built the foundation. You've learned to arrange your cells, craft formulas that perform calculations like master chefs, and add powerful functions that act as specialized tools. You've given your data a visual voice with charts and a professional polish with formatting. Now, we step into a new role. We move from being operators to architects, designing spreadsheets that not only calculate but also reason, decide, and respond intelligently to the data they hold. This chapter is your bridge from technical proficiency to true mastery. The functions we're about to explore are the cornerstones of intelligent data analysis. They may sound advanced, but I promise to be your guide every step of the way. By the end, you will be building solutions that automate complex tasks, turning you into the go-to Excel expert in your office or classroom. 9.1. IF Statements for Decision Making. Imagine you're standing at a fork in the road. One path leads to one outcome, the other to a different outcome. The decision you make depends entirely on a single condition. Is it raining? If yes, you take the umbrella. If no, you leave it behind. The IF function is Excel's way of handling this exact kind of logic, right inside a cell. It's the fundamental building block of decision-making in any spreadsheet. The IF function asks a simple question and provides two different answers based on whether the response is true or false. Its structure is beautifully straightforward. IF, logical test, value if true, value if false. The logical test is your question, e.g., is the sales total greater than the target? The value if true is what Excel does if the answer is yes, and the value if false is what it does if the answer is no. Let's apply this to a real-world scenario. You have a list of sales figures and a target of $5,000. You want to automatically calculate a 10% bonus for anyone who meets or exceeds the target. The logical test would be A2 equals 5,000. The value if true would be the formula to calculate the bonus, A2 0.1. The value if false would simply be 0, as no bonus is earned. Equals if, A2 equals 5,000, A2 0.1, 0. This single line of formula replaces what would otherwise be a manual, time-consuming, and error-prone task. It introduces a spark of intelligence into your sheet, allowing it to react to the data it contains. Mastering the IF function is a true turning point in your Excel journey. You'll start seeing opportunities for this kind of smart automation everywhere. Understanding logical operators. Figure, a clean, minimalist flowchart diagram on a light gray background. The diagram starts with a rounded rectangle saying sales total, A2. An arrow points to a diamond shape labeled is a 2 greater than or equal to 5,000. 2 arrows exit the diamond, one labeled true pointing to a rectangle calculate bonus, A2 0.1, and one labeled false pointing to a rectangle bonus, 0. Both outcome rectangles then point to a final rounded rectangle display bonus amount. Use a modern, sans serif font like Calibri. To build your logical test, you'll need to be familiar with Excel's logical operators. These are the symbols you use to compare values. They are simple but incredibly powerful. You're likely already familiar with them from basic math, but it's worth reviewing them in the context of Excel. Operator meaning example description. Using these operators, you can craft precise logical tests to fit almost any condition you can imagine. As you become more comfortable, you'll find yourself combining if with other functions to create even more sophisticated logic, as we'll see later in this chapter. 9.2. VLOOKUP and PivotTables for data retrieval. Have you ever needed to pull a piece of information from a massive table into another part of your spreadsheet? Perhaps you have an employee ID on a timesheet and need to fetch that employee's name from a master list. Manually searching and copying is inefficient and prone to errors. This is a perfect job for lookup functions, your superpowered data detectives. The VLOOKUP function is one of Excel's most celebrated and useful tools. Its name stands for vertical lookup, and it does exactly that. It searches for a value in the first column of a table and returns a corresponding value from a different column in the same row. It's like telling a librarian, find this book serial number in your catalog and tell me the author's name. The syntax looks a bit complex at first, but we'll break it down. VLOOKUP, lookup value, table array, col index num, range lookup. The lookup value is what you're searching for, the employee ID. The table array is the entire range of data where you're searching, the master list. The col index num is the column number in that table from which to pull the result, e.g., column 2 for the employee's name. The range lookup is a crucial final argument. For most cases, you will use false to demand an exact match. Imagine you have a product list on one sheet, with product ID in column A and price in column B. On your invoice sheet, you type the product ID. You can use VLOOKUP to instantly pull the correct price. Equals VLOOKUP, A2, product list, $A, $1, B, $100, 2, false. In this example, Excel looks for the value from cell A2 within the first column of the range A1 B100 on the product list sheet. When it finds a match, it looks over to the second column, col index num of 2, and returns the price. The dollar signs lock the table array, so it doesn't shift when you copy the formula down your invoice column. Introducing VLOOKUP. Figure, a split-screen visual diagram. The left side shows a small invoice sheet with cell A2 containing prod 789. The right side shows a product list with two columns, A, product ID, and B, price. A prominent arrow starts from prod 789 in the invoice, points directly to the matching prod 789 in the product list's column A, and then continues to the adjacent cell in column B, highlighting the price value $24.99. This visually demonstrates the VLOOKUP process. As you might guess, VLOOKUP is the horizontal counterpart to VLOOKUP. It stands for horizontal lookup and is used when your comparison data is arranged in rows instead of columns. The syntax is nearly identical: VLOOKUP, lookup value, table array, row index num, range lookup. While less common than VLOOKUP, it's an essential tool for your toolkit, especially when dealing with certain types of financial or timetabled data. 9.3. Financial functions for planning. Excel can be your personal financial advisor, ready to tackle the complex mathematics of loans and investments with a few simple functions. For many, the world of finance can seem intimidating, filled with jargon and confusing formulas. But with these functions, you can perform powerful calculations for planning your future or making business decisions with confidence. The heavy lifting is done for you. One of the most practical and frequently used financial functions is PMT. It calculates the periodic payment for a loan based on constant payments and a constant interest rate. Thinking of buying a car, a house, or taking out a business loan? PMT will tell you exactly what your monthly payment will be, empowering you to budget effectively. The syntax is PMT, rate, NPER, PV, FV, type. Let's focus on the three essential arguments. Rate is the interest rate per period. This is a critical detail. If you're calculating monthly payments, you must divide the annual interest rate by 12. NPER is the total number of payments for the loan, e.g., a 3-year car loan with monthly payments would be 36. PV, or present value, is the principal amount of the loan. Let's say you're considering a $15,000 car loan at a 5% annual interest rate for 4 years. To calculate the monthly payment, your formula would look like this. Equals PMT, 5% 12, 412, 15,000. Here, rate is 5% 12 to get the monthly rate, NPER is 412 for the total number of monthly payments, and PV is 15,000. Excel will return the monthly payment amount. It will be negative, representing a cash outflow, which you can easily fix by putting a minus sign before the PV. Suddenly, a complex financial calculation becomes a simple, transparent task. 9.4. Nested functions for complex calculations. Figure, a clean, infographic-style diagram on a soft blue background. In the center, a large, bold PMT label. 3 arrows point toward it, each labeled with one of the key arguments, rate with an icon of a % sign, NPER with a calendar icon, and PV with a $sign icon. The overall style should be professional and educational, like a slide from a corporate training presentation. This is where we put it all together. A nested function is simply a function placed inside another function as one of its arguments. Think of it like Russian nesting dolls or a recipe that calls for a sub-recipe. You start solving the problem from the innermost function and work your way out. This technique allows you to perform sophisticated, multi-step calculations within a single, elegant cell. The real power of nesting shines when you combine different types of functions. A classic, high-value example is nesting a VLOOKUP inside an IF statement. Imagine our earlier scenario where you're using VLOOKUP to find a product price on an invoice. What happens if the product ID you type doesn't exist in your product list? By default, VLOOKUP will return an ugly not applicable error. We can fix this with nesting. We can create a formula that says, first, try to perform the VLOOKUP. If the result is a not applicable error, then display a friendly message like product not found. Otherwise, display the price you found. This is accomplished by nesting VLOOKUP within the IFNA function, which is designed specifically to handle not applicable errors. Equals IFNA, VLOOKUP, A2, product list, $A$1, $B$100, 2, false, product not found. Excel evaluates this from the inside out. It first attempts the VLOOKUP. If the VLOOKUP succeeds, the IFNA function simply passes that result along. If the VLOOKUP fails and returns a not applicable error, the IFNA function catches it and returns our custom text, product not found, instead. When you start nesting functions, you're truly programming in Excel. You're creating conditional logic and automated workflows. A pro tip for debugging these complex formulas is to use the Evaluate Formula tool on the Formulas tab in the Excel ribbon. It lets you step through the calculation one stage at a time, so you can see exactly how Excel is interpreting your nested logic. Figure, a visual step-by-step breakdown of the nested IFNA, VLOOKUP, formula. Use a numbered list format. Step 1 shows a cell with a product ID and an arrow pointing to the VLOOKUP part of the formula. Step 2 shows the formula scanning a sample product list. Step 3 splits into 2 paths. One shows found, return price, and the other shows not found, return not applicable. Step 4 shows the IFNA function, with the not found path leading to the final output product not found. Use color coding to link parts of the formula to the actions in the diagram. Combining these advanced functions is your final step in building spreadsheets that are not just smart, but resilient and user-friendly. You now have the skills to build robust tools that can handle real-world data, imperfections, and all. This is the level of expertise that separates casual users from true Excel power users.
Chapter 10: Printing and Sharing Your Work. Sections. Section 10.1, Page Setup for Perfect Printouts. Section 10.2, Headers, Footers, and Page Numbers. Section 10.3, Saving in Different Formats. Section 10.4, Protecting and Sharing Workbooks. Welcome to the final stage of your journey, where your meticulously crafted work steps out from behind the screen and into the real world. In previous chapters, you've become an architect of data, designing structures with formulas, bringing them to life with charts, and giving them a professional polish with formatting. Now, it's time to become the presenter, ensuring your audience sees your work exactly as you intended. This chapter is about delivery, the final, critical step that transforms a private spreadsheet into a powerful piece of communication. Think of a master chef who has spent hours preparing a magnificent dish. The final plating, the garnish, and the presentation to the diner are just as crucial as the cooking itself. Your spreadsheet is that dish, and printing and sharing are how you present it to the world. Getting this right prevents confusion, projects professionalism, and protects your hard work. We'll explore the tools and techniques that ensure your message is delivered with clarity and confidence. 10.1 Page Setup for Perfect Printouts. Before you even think about hitting the print button, a little preparation can save you from the common frustration of messy, cut-off printouts. Page setup is your dress rehearsal for the main event. It's where you make sure everything fits perfectly on the page, oriented correctly, and with the right amount of breathing room. This small step has a huge professional payoff, showing you care about the details. Getting this right means thinking about the final destination for your document. Is it a formal report in a binder? A quick handout for a meeting? Your setup choices should always serve the reader. Let's walk through the essential settings that will make you look like a pro every time you print. Orientation and margins, framing your work. The first decision is how your page will be laid out. Excel offers two primary orientations, portrait and landscape. Portrait mode, where the page is taller than it is wide, is ideal for traditional reports, lists, and data that flows vertically. Think of it as the standard for letters and documents. Landscape mode, where the page is wider than it is tall, is your best friend when you have wide tables with many columns. Trying to squeeze a 15-column table onto a portrait page will result in tiny text and spilled over columns, forcing the reader to piece together your data across multiple pages. Always choose the orientation that best showcases your data without unnecessary cramping. Figure, a side-by-side comparison of an Excel worksheet in page layout view. The left side shows a portrait orientation, with columns AG visible, and the right side shows a landscape orientation, with columns AP visible. The view should clearly illustrate how landscape accommodates more columns horizontally. Next, consider your margins. Margins are the empty spaces around the edges of your printed page. They provide a frame for your content, making it easier to read and handle. You can choose preset margins like normal, wide, or narrow, or define custom margins for precise control. Don't be afraid to give your data some room to breathe. Adequate margins prevent text from getting lost in the binding or cut off at the edge. Scaling to fit, the magic fit to page option. This is, without a doubt, one of the most powerful printing features in Excel, and it's a true lifesaver. You've likely experienced the pain of printing a report only to find that a single column has been pushed onto a second, nearly blank page. The Scale to Fit group on the Page Layout tab is your solution. Here, you have two magical options. The first is width. You can tell Excel to force your entire selection to fit onto one page, or 2 pages, and so on. The second is height, which does the same for rows. The ultimate tool is the dialog box launcher for this group, where you'll find the holy grail, fit to 1 page wide by 1 page tall. Selecting this option automatically shrinks your content just enough to fit everything onto a single page. It's a brilliant compromise that preserves the layout's integrity without manual guesswork. Sometimes, you don't want to print the entire worksheet. Perhaps you only need to share a specific table. In this case, you should define your print area. Simply select the cells you want to print, navigate to the Page Layout tab, click Print Area, and choose Set Print Area. Excel will now only print that selection, ignoring everything else on the sheet. It's the perfect way to focus your reader's attention on exactly what matters. 10.2 Headers, footers, and page numbers. A stack of printed papers can quickly become confusing without proper navigation and context. Headers and footers are the signposts that guide your reader through your document. They appear at the top and bottom of every printed page and can contain crucial information like the report title, the date, your name, and page numbers. This isn't just decorative, it's a fundamental element of professional document management. Adding these elements elevates your work from a simple printout to a polished, official document. Imagine receiving a multi-page report. Without page numbers, if the pages get dropped, you have no way to reassemble them correctly. Without a title in the header, you might not know what the document is. Let's add these professional touches to your spreadsheets. Adding and customizing headers and footers. The easiest way to access headers and footers is to switch to Page Layout View using the button in the bottom right corner of the Excel window. This view shows you exactly how the pages will look when printed, with Click to Add Header and Click to Add Footer placeholders at the top and bottom. Clicking on these placeholders opens the Header and Footer Tools contextual tab on the ribbon. Here, you have a wealth of options. You can type your own text, but the real power lies in the built-in header and footer elements group. You can automatically insert the page number of pages, to get page 1 of 10, the current date, current time, the file path, the file name, and even the sheet name. You have 3 regions within both the header and the footer: left, center, and right. This allows for a clean, organized layout. For example, you might place your company logo on the left, the report title in the center, and the date on the right. For the footer, you could have a confidentiality notice on the left, the page number in the center, and the file path on the right. Consistency is key. Using a standard header-footer template for all your reports builds a professional brand for your work. Figure a detailed screenshot of the Excel header and footer tools contextual tab on the ribbon. The header and footer elements group should be highlighted with callouts pointing to the icons for page number, number of pages, current date, file path, etc. The main worksheet area should be in Page Layout View, showing a cursor inside the header editing area. 10.3 Saving in different formats. Your work in Excel doesn't have to live exclusively as an .xlsx file. The real power of modern software is its ability to communicate with other programs and users. Saving your workbook in different formats is like speaking different languages. It allows you to share your work in the most appropriate way for any situation, whether it's a universal, unchangeable document or raw data for another system. Understanding which format to use and when is a hallmark of an experienced user. A common mistake is always sharing the native Excel file, which can lead to unintended edits or formatting issues for the recipient. Let's explore the most important formats for sharing your work effectively and professionally. The PDF, the Universal Digital Paper. The Portable Document Format, PDF, is arguably the most important format for sharing finalized documents. When you save a spreadsheet as a PDF, you create a digital snapshot that preserves your layout, fonts, and formatting exactly as you designed it. It cannot be easily edited, which protects your work from accidental or unauthorized changes. Think of a PDF as the digital equivalent of a printed and bound document. It's perfect for reports, invoices, and any document where presentation is critical and you want the recipient to view it, not change it. Most computers and mobile devices have built-in PDF readers, making it a truly universal format. To save as a PDF, simply go to File Save As, choose your location, and then select PDF from the Save As type drop-down menu. It's the single best way to ensure your work looks the same on every screen. The CSV, speaking the language of data. Sometimes, you don't need the pretty charts and formatting, you just need the raw data. This is where the CSV, comma-separated values, format shines. A CSV file contains no formatting, no formulas, and no charts. It's just a plain text file where the data from each cell is separated by a comma. This might seem basic, but CSV is the universal language for moving data between different programs. You can export a list of contacts from Excel as a CSV and import it into an email marketing program, a customer relationship management (CRM) system, or even another database application. It strips away everything but the essential information, ensuring pure data transfer. To save as a CSV, use File Save As and choose CSV, delimited, from the list. Remember, saving as a CSV will only save the active worksheet, and you will lose all non-data elements. 10 point for protecting and sharing workbooks. Collaboration is a reality in any professional environment, but so is the need to protect your work. Sharing an Excel workbook is an act of trust, but you can build safety nets into your files to prevent common disasters. Excel provides a robust set of protection features that let you share your work without fear of someone accidentally deleting a crucial formula or messing up your carefully structured data. Learning to protect your work is not about being untrusting, it's about being professional. It's about designing a file that guides users to interact with it correctly. Think of it as creating guardrails on a highway. They don't restrict the journey, they ensure everyone reaches their destination safely. Let's explore how to build these guardrails into your spreadsheets. Locking down your formulas, protecting worksheets. The most common need is to prevent users from changing your formulas and static labels while still allowing them to input data into specific cells. This is achieved with a two-step process, locking cells and then protecting the sheet. By default, every single cell in an Excel worksheet is locked, but this setting has no effect until sheet protection is turned on. The workflow is this: first, select the cells you want people to be able to edit, e.g., input fields. Then, go to the Home tab, click Format in the Cells group, and uncheck Lock Cell. Now, with your input cells unlocked, you can enable protection. Navigate to the Review tab and click Protect Sheet. You'll be prompted to enter a password and then choose what actions users are allowed to perform, such as selecting locked or unlocked cells. Controlling the structure, protecting workbooks. Figure, a flowchart diagram illustrating the two-step process for worksheet protection. Step 1, select Input Cells - Home tab Format uncheck Lock Cell. Step 2, Review tab you protect sheet - enter password - select Allowed Actions. The flow should be simple, clear, and easy to follow. Sometimes you need a higher level of security. Protecting a workbook is different from protecting a worksheet. Worksheet protection locks down cells, whereas workbook protection locks down the structure of the file itself. On the Review tab, you'll find Protect Workbook. This option allows you to prevent other users from adding, deleting, renaming, or moving sheets within your workbook. You can also choose to protect the workbook's windows, which stops users from changing the size or position of the Excel window. This is useful for creating dashboards or applications that should have a fixed, unchangeable interface. Use Worksheet Protection to guard the contents of your sheets, and use Workbook Protection to guard the structure of your entire file. They are complementary tools that, when used together, give you complete control over how your spreadsheet is used.
Chapter 11, ICDL Exam Preparation Toolkit. Sections. Section 11.1, Understanding the Exam Structure. Section 11.2, Practice Tests for each module. Section 11.3, Time Management during the exam. Section 11.4, Last-Minute Review Checklist. Welcome to the chapter where preparation meets performance. Throughout our journey, you have been the architect, building robust data structures, the curator, bringing order to information, and the presenter, communicating with clarity and impact. You've acquired a powerful set of skills that transform a simple grid of cells into a dynamic tool for analysis and decision-making. Now, it's time to step into the final role, the confident examinee ready to showcase your expertise. This chapter is your personal toolkit for exam success. It's designed not to teach you new Excel features, but to sharpen the tools you already have and give you a strategy for using them under pressure. Think of this as the final dress rehearsal before a major performance. We will demystify the exam environment, build your confidence through practice, and create a game plan for managing your time and focus. My goal is to replace any exam day anxiety with the quiet confidence that comes from being truly prepared. 11.1. Understanding the exam structure. Fear of the unknown is often the greatest source of anxiety. Before you can conquer the exam, you must first understand its landscape. The ICDL exam is not designed to trick you, it's designed to assess your ability to perform real-world tasks efficiently and accurately. It's a practical test of your skills, not a test of your ability to memorize obscure facts. Understanding this philosophy is the first step toward approaching the exam with the right mindset. The exam environment is a simulated version of the Excel application. You will be given a series of tasks to complete, and the software will mark your progress automatically. Most questions are task-based, meaning you will be asked to perform a specific action, such as in cell B10, create a formula that averages the values in the range B3-B9. The interface will look and feel very much like the standard Excel you've been using, but it's contained within the exam framework. Here's a typical breakdown of what you can expect. Module Core Focus Typical Task Examples Question Format. From my experience training hundreds of candidates, the biggest hurdle is often simple unfamiliarity with the exam interface, not the Excel tasks themselves. Spend a few minutes on the official ICDL diagnostic or sample tests if available, just to get comfortable with how questions are presented and how your answers are submitted. Knowing where the next button is, for example, saves precious mental energy that you can then dedicate entirely to the task at hand. Figure: a clear, clean infographic showing the ICDL exam interface workflow. The visual should have 5 main boxes connected by arrows. 1. Welcome screen with exam instructions. 2. Question panel on the left with a list of questions. 3. Main workspace in the center showing a partially completed Excel sheet. 4. Instructions at the top with a specific task like format the total column as currency. 5. A next button at the bottom. The style should be minimalist and professional, using a blue and white color scheme, similar to software documentation. 11.2. Practice tests for each module. Practice is the engine that builds confidence. It's not about memorizing the answers to specific questions, but about developing muscle memory for common tasks. When you have to apply a complex formula or format a chart under time pressure, you don't want to waste cognitive cycles trying to remember which ribbon tab contains the right button. Practice makes those actions second nature, freeing your mind to focus on the logic of the task itself. Treat every practice session as a mini-exam. Don't just casually work through a list of exercises. Instead, create a realistic testing environment for yourself. This means setting a timer, eliminating distractions, and committing to completing the entire set of tasks without referring to your notes. This simulates the pressure you'll feel on exam day and trains you to perform reliably, even when the clock is ticking. Simulating exam conditions. To make your practice truly effective, you need to replicate the test environment as closely as possible. This goes beyond just setting a timer. It's about building a mental sanctuary where you can focus completely on the challenges in front of you. Close all irrelevant tabs and applications. Your exam computer will only have the testing software open. Get used to working without the crutch of a web browser or your personal files. Use a timer. Use your phone's timer or a kitchen timer and place it where you can see it. Don't just track the total time, try to pace yourself through individual questions. No notes. The exam is closed book. Practice recalling functions and procedures from memory. This is the only way to know for sure what you have mastered and what needs more review. After completing a practice test, the most important step begins: analysis. Don't just look at your score. Go back through every single question, especially the ones you got wrong or struggled with. Was your mistake due to a knowledge gap, you didn't know how to do it, a procedural error, you knew what to do but did it wrong, or a time pressure slip-up? Understanding the why behind your mistakes is what transforms practice from a simple rehearsal into a powerful learning tool. 11.3. Time management during the exam. With a solid understanding of the exam structure and effective practice under your belt, the final piece of the puzzle is a time management strategy. The clock can be an intimidating opponent, but with a clear plan, you can turn it into an ally. The key is not to rush, but to pace yourself deliberately and strategically. Panicking leads to careless errors. A calm, methodical approach leads to accurate results. Before the exam even begins, do some simple math. If you have 50 minutes for a module with approximately 25 tasks, that gives you an average of 2 minutes per task. This isn't a rigid rule. Some tasks will take 30 seconds, while others might take 5 minutes, but it gives you a baseline. Knowing this average prevents you from spending 10 minutes on a single problem and derailing your entire exam. Total exam time, number of tasks, average time per task. One of the most effective strategies is the mark for review and move on technique. If you encounter a task that is particularly difficult or time-consuming and you're not making progress after a minute or two, don't let it become a roadblock. Flag it, make a guess if you must, and move on to the next question. By answering all the easier questions first, you secure those points, build confidence, and can return to the tougher challenges with a clearer head and whatever time you have left. 11.4 Last-minute review checklist. Figure, a circular diagram or a timeline graphic illustrating the pacing strategy. The visual should be divided into 4 quadrants. 1. First pass, 70% of time, answer all easy known questions quickly. 2. Mark for review, don't get stuck. Flag and move on. 3. Second pass, 25% of time, return to marked questions and tackle them. 4. Final review, 5% of time, scan for any obvious errors or missed instructions. Use icons like a checkmark, a flag, a clock, and a magnifying glass for each quadrant. The style should be clean, with a modern color palette. As exam day approaches, your preparation shifts from building skills to making sure you're ready to execute. This checklist is your anchor, a simple set of actions to ensure that when you sit down at the computer, your mind is free to focus on one thing, demonstrating your Excel expertise. Go through this list the day before and the hour before your exam. It's designed to minimize stress and maximize your performance. The day before the exam. Review, don't cram. Quickly review your notes, especially on keyboard shortcuts and complex functions like VLOOKUP or if statements. Do not try to learn new material. Confirm logistics, double-check the exam time, location, and what you need to bring, usually photo identification. Rest your mind. A well-rested brain is a high-performing brain. Avoid late-night cramming sessions. Prepare your bag, pack your ID, any required confirmation emails, and a bottle of water. The hour before the exam. Eat a light, healthy meal. Avoid heavy foods that can make you feel sluggish. Do a quick warm-up. Spend 10 to 15 minutes in Excel. Recreate a simple chart, write a sum formula, and practice a few formatting tasks. This is like stretching before a run. Arrive early. Give yourself plenty of time to find the room, use the restroom, and get settled without feeling rushed. Quiet your mind. Avoid last-minute panicky conversations with other candidates. Put on headphones and listen to calming music, or just sit quietly and breathe. In the exam room. Take a deep breath. Before you click start, close your eyes for 5 seconds, inhale deeply, and exhale slowly. Do a system check. Make sure your keyboard and mouse are working properly. Scan the entire test first. If the interface allows, quickly scroll through all the questions to get a sense of what's ahead. Trust your training. You have done the work. This is your opportunity to let those skills shine. Believe in yourself and the preparation you have completed. This journey from a blank spreadsheet to a confident ICDL candidate has been one of building skills and understanding. You've learned to think like a data analyst, communicate like a designer, and work like an office professional. The exam is simply the stage where you get to prove it to yourself. You are ready.
Chapter 12 Real-World Excel Applications. Sections. Section 12.1 Building a Personal Budget Tracker. Section 12.2 Creating a Sales Analysis Dashboard. Section 12.3 Project Management with Excel Templates. Section 12.4 Continuing your Excel Learning Journey. Welcome to the chapter where theory transforms into practice. Throughout our journey, you've mastered the technical foundations, becoming an architect of formulas, a curator of data, and a presenter of insights. Now, we step into the role of a practitioner, applying your skills to solve real-world challenges that you'll encounter in your professional life. This chapter bridges the gap between certification knowledge and practical application, showing you how Excel becomes your daily problem-solving companion. The applications we'll explore are deliberately chosen to reflect common business scenarios that ICDL certification prepares you for. Each project integrates multiple skills you've learned, demonstrating how the individual techniques combine to create powerful solutions. Think of this as your capstone experience, where all your learning converges into tangible outcomes that showcase your proficiency and add immediate value to any organization. Section 12.1 – Building a Personal Budget Tracker. Budget tracking is where Excel truly shines as a personal financial tool. By building your own budget tracker, you'll practice essential skills like data validation, conditional formatting, and summary functions while creating something immediately useful for managing your finances. This project transforms abstract budgeting concepts into a clear visual system that helps you understand your spending patterns and make informed financial decisions. Let's start by setting up the structure. Your budget tracker needs categories for income, expenses, and savings. Create a main dashboard sheet and separate sheets for different time periods. Monthly works well for most people. The key is designing a layout that makes data entry intuitive while automatically calculating totals and generating insights without manual intervention. Setting up categories and data entry. Begin by listing your expense categories in column A, with subcategories indented below each main category. This hierarchical structure makes your budget easier to read and analyze. In column B, you'll have budgeted amounts, and column C will track actual spending. The magic happens in column D, where we'll calculate the difference using a simple formula. For data entry efficiency, use drop-down lists for categories via data validation. This ensures consistency and prevents spelling errors that could break your calculations. Add comments to cells that require special instructions, making your tool user-friendly for anyone who might use it in the future. Equals IF C2 B2 over budget IF C2 B2 under budget on track. Adding visual insights. Conditional formatting brings your budget to life by providing instant visual feedback. Set up rules to highlight overspending in red and underspending in green. Create a progress bar for each category using data bars. This gives you an at-a-glance view of how you're performing against your budget without needing to analyze specific numbers. A pie chart showing expense distribution helps identify areas where you might be overspending. Place this chart on a dashboard sheet alongside key summary statistics like total income, total expenses, and savings rate. This creates a comprehensive financial snapshot that updates automatically as you enter new data. Figure, diagram showing a personal budget tracker spreadsheet with color-coded cells for budget performance, data bars showing spending progress, charts displaying expense breakdowns by category, and a summary dashboard at the top. Section 12.2, Creating a Sales Analysis Dashboard. Sales analysis is where Excel's data visualization capabilities truly shine for business professionals. A well-designed dashboard transforms raw sales data into actionable insights that drive business decisions. You'll practice creating pivot tables, designing interactive charts, and building a responsive layout that highlights the metrics that matter most to management. Your dashboard should answer key business questions at a glance. Which products are performing best? Which sales territories are exceeding targets? How do sales trend over time? The secret lies in organizing your raw data thoughtfully and letting Excel's analytical tools do the heavy lifting. Remember, the best dashboards are simple enough to understand in seconds but detailed enough to reveal deeper insights upon closer examination. Organizing the data foundation. Start with a clean sales data table containing columns for date, product, salesperson, region, unit sold, and revenue. Use Excel's Format as Table feature to maintain this data structure. It automatically expands ranges and preserves formatting as you add new records. This foundation makes creating reports and dashboards infinitely easier than working with unstructured data ranges. Create named ranges for key metrics like total sales, target sales, and growth rate. These names make your formulas more readable and your dashboard more maintainable. When you need to reference these values across multiple sheets or formulas, you'll appreciate not having to track down cell references. SUMIFs, sales, revenue, sales, region, B2, sales, date, equals, and start date, sales, date, equals, and end date. Building interactive elements. Slicers are your dashboard's best friends. They allow users to filter data interactively without understanding complex pivot table mechanics. Connect slicers for date ranges, regions, and product categories to all your charts and tables. When a manager clicks Q2 and North region, everything updates instantly to show that specific slice of data. Sparklines provide trend visualization within individual cells, perfect for showing product performance trends alongside summary tables. Combine these with conditional formatting to highlight exceptional performance. The goal is to create a narrative flow that guides viewers from high-level summary to detailed analysis with minimal effort. Figure, diagram showing a sales dashboard with multiple charts, bar chart for top products, line chart for sales trends, map for regional performance, interactive slicers for filtering, KPI cards with year-over-year comparisons, and a clean corporate design. Section 12.3, Project Management with Excel Templates. Project management in Excel combines planning, tracking, and communication into one familiar interface. While dedicated project management software exists, Excel's flexibility makes it perfect for small to medium-sized projects where customization and immediate accessibility outweigh specialized features. You'll create a project tracker that manages tasks, timelines, resources, and progress, all in one integrated system. The beauty of Excel for project management lies in its adaptability. Unlike rigid software, your Excel project tracker can evolve with your project's unique needs. Start with a task list, add dependencies, incorporate resource allocation, then layer on progress tracking. Build it incrementally, and you'll end up with a tool perfectly suited to your specific project requirements. Creating the task breakdown structure. Your project tracker begins with a comprehensive task list in a hierarchical format. Column A should list major project phases, with subsequent columns for task names, responsible parties, start dates, end dates, durations, and status. Use conditional formatting to highlight overdue tasks and approaching deadlines, visual cues that keep projects on track without constant manual monitoring. Implement a simple Gantt chart using conditional formatting across date columns. This visual timeline instantly shows task overlaps and resource conflicts without requiring complex add-ins. The key is making critical path items visible at a glance, helping you identify which tasks truly impact your project's completion date. =IF and today equals start date, today, end date, overdue, not started. Managing resources and dependencies. Resource allocation prevents bottlenecks by ensuring no team member is overcommitted. Create a resource summary tab that pulls hours from each task and compares them against available capacity. Use data validation to prevent assigning tasks to unavailable resources and highlight potential conflicts before they impact your timeline. Task dependencies add intelligence to your schedule. Create predecessor columns that reference other task IDs, then build formulas to automatically update dependent start dates when tasks shift. This creates a dynamic timeline that reflects real-world project management, where delays inevitably cascade through interconnected tasks. Figure, extra detailed AI-ready prompt for AI-generated diagram showing a project management spreadsheet with Gantt chart visualization, task list with status indicators, resource allocation heat map, progress tracking dashboard, and milestone markers. Section 12.4, Continuing your Excel Learning Journey. Your ICDL certification represents a significant achievement, but it's truly the beginning of your Excel journey. The applications we've explored demonstrate how foundational skills combine to create powerful solutions. As you grow in your career, you'll discover that Excel's depth matches its breadth. There's always another technique to master or another problem to solve with this versatile tool. The most valuable Excel users are those who never stop learning. The landscape of data analysis evolves constantly, with new features and approaches emerging regularly. Cultivate curiosity, stay updated with new Excel capabilities, and always look for opportunities to apply your skills in novel ways. Your certification is your license to learn. Embrace that opportunity with enthusiasm and creativity. Building your professional development path. Consider advancing to Power BI for more sophisticated data visualization and business intelligence. Power BI builds directly on your Excel skills, extending them with interactive dashboards, natural language queries, and enterprise-grade sharing capabilities. The transition feels natural for Excel users, yet opens up entirely new possibilities for data storytelling. For those inclined toward automation, exploring VBA or Power Automate can transform how you work. Imagine turning repetitive tasks into one-click solutions, data imports, report generation, or custom calculations that adapt to changing business needs. These skills differentiate you from basic Excel users and position you as a valuable problem solver in any organization. Joining the Excel community. The Excel community is remarkably generous with knowledge and support. Participate in forums like Mr. Excel or the Microsoft Excel subreddit to see how others solve complex problems. Share your own solutions, ask questions, and connect with professionals who share your passion for data. These communities often provide insights you won't find in formal training materials. Excel competitions and challenges offer fun ways to sharpen your skills. Websites like Excel Everest or competitions on the Microsoft Tech community provide real-world scenarios that push your abilities beyond the exam requirements. These practical challenges cement your understanding while building a portfolio of impressive solutions. Your journey with Excel has just begun. The skills you've mastered through your ICDL preparation form the foundation for a lifetime of data-driven problem-solving. Every spreadsheet you create, every formula you write, and every insight you discover adds to your expertise. Continue practicing, stay curious, and remember, the best Excel users aren't just those who know the most functions, they're those who use Excel to make better decisions and solve meaningful problems. You have been listening to Excel Spreadsheet for ICDL, written by Ahmed Khorshid. We hope you have found this program helpful in your spreadsheets for the ICDL certification. Like, thumbs up, share, arrow, and subscribe.